You are about to witness history in the making.
Hi everyone and welcome to episode 43 of the Pop Culture Gamers podcast. It's been a couple of weeks, but I'm here, my name's Hayden, and I'm here as always with Steve. How are you doing, Steve?
Not bad. Well recovered now from having the flu, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, you had proper man flu, didn't you?
It was dreadful man flu. It wasn't just 3 days off work for the sheer hell of it. It was 3 days work feeling, ugh.
Have you ever seen the Nick Frost sketch when he was on Man vs. Woman of having a cold, and he phones for the paramedics because he tries to call his wife and she doesn't hear him.
Women have no sympathy from that point of view.
No, they don't. But it's well worth a watch. Just put in man flu, Man vs. Woman. And then, trust me, you will really have a good laugh at that whole sketch.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Yeah. So what have you been doing then, Steve?
So, excuse me, I've had a bit of a cough over the last couple of days as well, but never mind, I've got a bottle of whiskey with me here to keep me going. So over the last few days, I picked up my new car.
Very nice. What have you got?
I've got it's a Vostell Extra Estate.
All right, okay, so that's different to what you normally have.
No, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same thing.
I didn't think you had an Astra.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I got that on April Fool's Day. I didn't think it was going to turn up. I thought, yeah, right, we'll see. And it turned up April Fool's morning. The guy dropped it off he came from Southampton Dock, so not sure if it's been sitting there for about the last couple of weeks, I don't know, but he brought it over, gave him the keys to my old car, he took that to Blackbush Market to get it sold straight away, and I've been giving a bit of a test out. I've got to have a tracker fitted yet, which is it's one of the things for work you have to do.
Did you have a tracker in your other one?
I did, but it didn't really work very well, I don't think.
All right, okay.
But it's just, rights and wrongs of a tracker, I don't know. But hey-ho, it's what you have to have done. But yeah, the car's pretty good. I mean, I was well chuffed with the idea that I can watch movies on the car. Did you see that video I posted on Twitter?
I did, but not driving, I trust.
No, that was parked up one evening.
Right.
I thought, I mean to try that. So I dug a memory stick out and I had I had my digital copy from Mission Impossible and Rush, and I thought, well, I'll put that in. And I was well surprised that it finds them, because it doesn't with the phone. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I have to admit, my car's got a DVD player in it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, could have come with a Blu-ray with a 4K screen. That would have been.
The thing is, right, because mine is a 19 plate, so it isn't, and it's this year.
Yeah.
Has no CD player now.
No.
No 3.5 jack.
Yeah, it'll be Bluetooth.
Yeah, it's all Bluetooth, and I'm just getting used to swapping between my phone and the work phone.
Yeah.
Because I listen to my music and my podcast on my phone, and then obviously I get calls during the day when I'm driving as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just going to get used to that. So, yeah, it's pretty good. Recorded another podcast. How dare I? Yes,
how dare you? Moonlighting.
How dare I? Well, yeah, it actually went very well. Unfortunately, though, we did have the guy's in, for Wrong Reel, he's in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And for some unknown reason, it kept dropping out. And how many podcasts have we done over the years? You just don't dread to think.
We must have done a couple of hundred together.
Yeah. And it dropped out about 7 times.
Wow. I think we've had one dropout in all the time that we've ever done it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, the podcast was done. It's been edited at the minute, so I'll let you know when it goes out.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, basically, it was my passion for movie music, which was really good. And they just asked a little bit about the show and what we do and stuff like that. So all good as for getting us out there.
Well, yeah, because I mean, we do have a following in the States as well. So, but I know the Wrong Reel's sort of like international, same as we are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that'd be cool. So he messaged me actually over this weekend, saying he's just nearly finished it. He said he's been a bit busy. I said, no, don't worry about it. It's out when it's out, mate. You know, God, I'm not expecting, because they bring it. There's like us. They bring out them once a week, and he's got like 3 backed up all the time, where he's always doing shows on different things to bring out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that week that happened, I noticed my internet was a little bit dodge.
Right.
Now, did I mention this last time? I don't think I mentioned. No, I wouldn't have done because I hadn't have done the show. So, I used my app for Sky to check my internet.
Yeah.
And did a speed test. It said there's a problem. So I was getting 50 meg, but they weren't happy with it because I should be getting 80.
Mm-hmm.
So it said, do you want to require an engineer? Hit this button. So I tapped yes on the app. And they said, don't worry, you won't need to come to the house. You'll check outside and all should be good. And then Friday night, I got an email via the app saying, we need to arrange a visit inside the house. And I'm thinking, I thought, here we go. This is going to be about a week or 2 weeks wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, he came next day on a Saturday morning, which was blinding. So the engineer turned up and we found a cable fault going into the house.
All right. Okay. So
between the overheads coming into the house and then coming out of the box for that, and then the bit between that and the box on the wall, which if you plug into, that was the fault, believe it or not.
Wow.
So he rewired that part. He said, do you mind if we reposition it over here so it's easier to drill through the wall? I said, yeah, no, knock yourself out. And it's back up to 80 meg sweet now, so all good, really.
Yeah, very nice. I mean, I'm supposed to have about 72, 73 from where I am because I'm right on top of the box as well. Sort of like second out of the box or something. But I get probably about 55 all the time. But I have a feeling that the reason why that is because I've run a wire upstairs from the main socket and the router is plugged in upstairs. So I think it might be that way.
Well, not really. I mean, I can see the green box from this room.
Yeah.
I'm literally, it's meters away. Really, I'm closest to it.
Yeah.
And he said, from where you are, you should be getting that constant, even anywhere in the house, straight in. So, unless you have a cable fault that might lose it a bit.
Yeah, I think it must be. But to be honest, I can't be bothered to dig up through, pull up all of the cabling that I've laid and then rewire the socket.
But it might be coming into the house. So it might be the bit going into the house at the first part.
It might be, but believe it or not, PlusNet, even though they're saying about their great customer service and everything.
Yeah.
They actually, every time I've spoken to them, have been so, well, the speed drops off and very, we don't care sort of thing. And as a matter of fact, the first time that I ever phoned up about it, the guy who was speaking to, he actually turned around to me and said, well, I don't even get 2 meg at my house. I said, well, what the hell's that got to do with my internet connection? I said,
exactly.
Effectively, if I bought a car off you, I wouldn't expect it to be cut off at the back doors. I would expect the back wheels and the boot when you've said that's what I was going to get. So, I don't know.
Well, what was great was it was all charged to BT because it was outside the house.
Yeah.
So, no problem there, really. That was all really done and dusted.
Oh, that's good.
Movies-wise, I did pick up Apocalypse Now. I don't know if you know of the movie.
I do. Yeah, everybody knows of this movie.
Well, there might be people that... The reason I picked it up, I was chatting about it on Twitter and talking to Film89 about it, and I was thinking, I said, I really want to see Redux, and they showed me the 3-disc copy you can get. But I didn't... I thought, well, I could just get the single disc copy of it, which comes with the original movie from 1979, plus the Redux, which is the 2001 extended version of it, with an extra 49 minutes. And that cost me £7.
That's not bad at all, is it?
No. It's a single disc, and it came the next day, basically. It's funny how it's funny on the front, it advertises now that Harrison Ford's in it, where that was never the case, because it's literally a walk-on part.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but he's a big star nowadays, so that's why.
Oh, yeah, they like to advertise if someone that's made it, that's on it, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a one, I haven't actually sat down yet and watched the Redux version, because it's going to be a long time to sit down that without any interruptions. But, really good. I'm glad I picked it up. And I did order, I don't know if I said before, I did order the Alien 40th anniversary.
Right.
That's coming, I think, about the 25th of April. So, looking forward to seeing that. And I've just been I was looking at some other favourites of mine that was linked to Francis Ford Coppola, who obviously did Apocalypse Now. And I'm a big fan of the Godfather trilogy.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know if it's your cup of tea or not, is that?
Not my sort of thing, no.
No. And I've been looking at getting the Blu-ray box set for that. And that's pretty cheap now.
Yeah. Not 4K, just Blu-ray.
Yeah, there's no 4K version out at the moment, but it's remastered, and it's,
Yeah.
It looks lovely, it's great movie. But, there's a few bits and pieces like that I've been looking at now that are cheaper than what they were when they originally came out.
Yeah.
I do have the Godfather trilogy on my Skybox anyway, but I just fancied a hard copy with all the extras.
Well, you can't beat a hard copy in your greasy little mitts, can you, really?
No, and we know what we feel about digital and how that goes. And also, as I said to earlier, I'm not going to talk about a couple of films I watched today over the weekend. I did watch Superman 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And I was looking at, you picked up the 4K edition, didn't you?
No.
Oh, didn't you buy that in the end?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Because that runs at about 143 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The copy I've got on my Skybox runs at 138 minutes, roughly.
Yeah.
And I have seen there's a Blu-ray double feature version of both Superman the Movie Special Edition and Superman the Movie Extended Edition.
Mm.
And say one of them nearly tops 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I can't think what the hell they've thrown back in there to make it what it does. Because that's a lot of minutes to throw back into a film.
Yeah, well, it's certainly more than just Superman walking through flamethrowers and machine guns outside Lex Luthor's lair, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, and also there's silly little things like, I don't know if you knew this, but when they had the VHS copy came out, because VHS tapes were only so long, they had to trim it.
Yeah.
As well. And I think even then they had a copyright issue with Rock Around the Clock.
Right. So
in the early scenes of seeing Clark Kent as a teenager, and when they had the football match and he was supposed to clear up all the kit. And obviously, as that scene progresses, he runs back across the train, and then the car pulls up. That car then is playing "Rock Around the Clock" by Bill Haley in the comics, and it was actually in the version I watched yesterday. But there is one where, due to some rights, it was edited out, and John Williams put a bit of score in there instead.
All right, okay.
So really weird. It's some interesting little nuggets to pick out of some of these movies that you like these extended versions.
And evidently, Marlon Brando, who played Jor-El, evidently he thought that the dialogue in the movie was complete and utter gibberish, and he didn't understand a word of it.
Well, I suppose that might be true unless you read the comics.
Well, It kind of surprised me because, it just goes to prove the quality of his acting, because that certainly didn't come across.
Oh, no, God knows. No.
But it was an interesting thing, which, a little tidbit that I picked up from somewhere. I can't even remember where it was. I think it might have been on the DVD version of it, as an extra feature.
And the other thing I'm not going to mention, but because obviously we've been away for 2 weeks, so we've already watched a few good films, bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But I was watching Dances with Wolves, which I'm a big fan of that movie.
Yeah.
And I've got the special edition, and it comes on 2 DVDs because it's that long.
Yeah.
And I looked up a little bit about it. And what they did is, it's funny that when they go to censor, and the version they brought out in the cinema, they wanted it to be under 3 hours because they felt it would be too much for the audience.
Mm.
And then the version I got is nearly 4 hours with another hour thrown back in.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was looking into this the other day, and I also went and had a look at my Lord of the Rings Blu-ray box set.
Mm-hmm. And
they're all on 2 discs as well. Now these are, I think it's Blu. Yeah, the Lord of the Rings is Blu-ray. Where that was DVD, but the special editions for each of those movies for Lord of the Rings, they're on 2 discs as well because they're so long.
I thought they were the extended editions. Not
yes, they are extended. So they were cut into 2 discs.
Yes,
but it's crazy that they do this, isn't it? Because let's have it out and all that. I know it's down to cuts and director cuts.
I thought they were on DVD, but not on Blu-ray.
No, because I've got the Blu-ray box set.
To be honest, it's been that long since I've actually played, I can't even remember.
Yeah, and I looked them up, actually, and do you know how much they're going for on Amazon?
No.
120 quid.
Really?
Yeah.
Good God. Mind you...
You can't get them anymore.
Well, no, exactly, but also the other thing as well is, do you remember the Lord of the Rings that was done before the movies? There was like an animated one, but with live action that was painted over.
Okay.
I can't remember who it was who created it now, but it was out in the 80s, and there was people paying over £1,000 for a VHS recording off the TV of that on eBay.
How mental is that?
Oh, it was because it was so rare to get that, and then they released it on DVD and completely obliterated that market. And I picked it up then as well because I really enjoyed that version of The Lord of the Rings back in the day. That was my first sort of experience of that before I read the book. Or the books, I should say.
I wonder if any more... I was trying to think if I had any more movies I had that were sort of like double discs because of how long they are.
Not that many, I wouldn't have thought.
No, I don't think... I mean, I think I've got at least about 3 or 4, but other than that, they're all pretty much, on one disc, basically. But yeah, just very interesting that was.
Yeah.
Anyway, I ramble on. So, what about yourself? Any more? Do you want to chat about your week?
It's been a long couple of weeks, to be quite honest.
The thing is, you forget about some of it as well, don't you? Do you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, it's been like really head to the grindstone sort of thing with work, which is one of the reasons why we weren't able to record during last week.
Yeah.
Because I was pulling a few sort of like later night shifts and, well, not shifts, but stopping at work later and stuff like that to try and get some work done for a project. I have to admit my inner geek has come out because what I'm doing at the moment is working with the people across health and adult services to implement new ways of working for safeguarding adults. And I've been working with another policy officer who work with her every day, basically, to write process maps. So if you've ever heard of the program called Visio, and this will probably prick up some ears, but not others, a Microsoft software, and basically doing process mapping. So basically having what you call swim lanes. And then imagine a flow chart like you would get with a computer, sort of design flow chart, but then putting swim lanes, and each swim lane is what one person does, and then putting in all of the boxes so that you can then see who has responsibility for what and when and etc., so that you can then write guidance for people in terms of what they need to consider at each stage. So I've been doing all that sort of stuff, which has been great because I absolutely love doing process mapping. And then I found out this weekend when I was helping my son with his homework that he's actually doing flowcharts at school. Yeah. So it's I managed to obtain a copy of Visio legitimately, I might add. and I've stuck that on my computer so that I can now, show him how to do it at home, which is great.
Yeah.
But I love doing all of that sort of stuff. I've been also looking at retiring my old amp as well, because I've got a Yamaha amp.
Oh, same as what my one was.
Yeah.
Which passed away.
Well, mine keeps cutting out.
Mm.
And I can't figure out why. There's no breakages in the cables that I can see or anything. And I've given up on the whole thing of having surround sound to watch movies now. It's just not going to happen anymore. It doesn't fit in with anything that, I can kind of really want the living room to do or whatever. So I've just given up on that.
Yeah.
So I just want an amp for listening to music, but I want one with Bluetooth on as well. I found a quite nice looking Sony one, which is about 150 quid.
Okay.
It looks quite nice. It's got Bluetooth on there as well. So I'm thinking about that.
You should check out my Denon amp, what I've got.
I've been looking at Denon's as well.
Because I've got a great app with mine as well.
Yeah.
Which you use for the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So you can stream your music from your phone as well.
How much was yours?
I think it retailed at about 400, but I think I got it cheaper than that because they were doing a deal at the time.
Okay.
Well, I'll dig out. I'll have a look later on. I'll dig it out for you and give you a bit of an idea what it was. So you can Google the price.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
I'll do a snapshot for you in a minute.
Yeah. Also, I've got about 3 more days and then I'm off for a week and a half.
Was this to get your game score up, is it?
I don't need to get my gamer score up.
No, if you've got someone like Nikki chasing you, I'm trying to.
Trying to. Yeah, I'm nearly at 250,000. I'm in my last few hundred to get to 250,000 gamer score now.
Yeah.
Which isn't too bad. But I'm off because my first day off is actually my birthday.
Oh, okay.
So quite looking forward to that because I know that what I'm getting for my birthday.
What's that?
AirPods.
Oh, these things you stick in your ears and make you look like you're Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek.
Yeah. Hailing frequencies are open.
That's it.
So I'm quite looking forward to that. I did actually thinking about Nikki. We had a game of Resident Evil 5. Finally got round to doing that a couple of weeks ago. We need to continue with on that as well. But I've been playing a few different games. Got the Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, which is the same as what you have. Also been playing a bit more Resi 2 and more Destiny 2 as well, although not as anywhere near as much as what you have.
I've had some great fun over the last week. I must admit, I've really been really good. But yeah, we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, I'll talk about later on as well the fact that the Santa Clarita Diet Season 3 was released.
My missus can't get into that. I did try. It's not a cup of tea.
No, probably not. But I binged watched that. Watched another couple of films. I'm not going to talk about some of these this week, but watched in 4K The Crimes of Grindelwald or whatever it is. The Fantastic Beasts. Yeah. I got Prince of Darkness.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I did, but I only got that as
single disc.
The single disc version.
Yeah.
What else have I got? I've actually purchased a few movies. Remember me talking about Dark City?
Remind me.
It's the one with Richard O'Brien off, Rocky Horror Show and Crystal Maze, where it's a city. It's always night in the city, no matter what time of day it is. And it's got Kiefer Sutherland in as well. And basically, these aliens are swapping people's memories between other people. And that's what the story's about, and about one person who learns to resist it.
Oh, okay.
So really, really good movie. Anyway, I've got that coming on Blu-ray. And I watched a fantastic older movie as well. One of my all-time favourites. Can you guess?
Well, the last one you watched we talked about was probably Little Shop of Horrors and Beetlejuice.
This is older than us.
Okay. Is it old as me?
About, yeah.
Go on then, hit me with it.
the 4K version.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
2001,
Yeah.
A Space Odyssey.
I do have the Blu-ray special edition of that.
Yeah, so do I, but I've got the 4K version now.
But I'd like to see what the difference is at the moment. I know it's... Is it true 4K with this one, is it?
I believe so, and it looks fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. You know, but in a matter of fact, it's so detailed, it almost does it a disfavour. Because, a disservice, I should say, because...
It shows up the imperfections.
Yeah. Particularly in some of the space bits. Although mostly it looks fantastic, but you can tell a couple of places where they cut corners. But I'll talk about that later on as well. Anything else?
Just a bit of football briefly, because I know you don't like football.
Okay, I'll just go to sleep for a couple of minutes.
Being a Spurs fan, our new stadium opened last week with the game against Crystal Palace. This stadium's worth $1 billion, which it took to put together. And I was offered tickets for the week after next, but I'm on call and I can't go. Absolutely gutted. But I did say if any others come up between now and the end of the season, I'd like to get to go, because it'd be a bit of an emotional trip for me to go back there, since I've been to the last two stadiums that have been built as they've gone along, you know.
Yeah. Could you not swap with someone?
No, I've got a family event on the same day as well, which I have to go to. But
Right. Okay.
I'm sure there'll be another chance I get to go. But it looks amazing, amazing stadium. But yeah, we can't have everything we want, can we? Also, that day it's Record Store Day, and I need to get in the queue for that as well, because there's a couple.
Is that round already?
That's a year. I know. Yeah, April the 13th. Is it 13th?
Crikey.
I think it is.
Friday.
Saturday, yeah. And there's a couple of little bits after that's coming out. Whether or not I'll be able to get them, I don't know. I think I might have a good chance of one of them, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Wait and see on that. I'll have to go early morning and then queue outside the shop with the rest of the other mortals, because you get a slot to go in and walk around, have a look around.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's a week away. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, ready to move on.
Well, next weekend as well is Insomnia. Not this weekend coming, as in, but the weekend after.
Are you going this year?
So 2 weekends. Yeah, I'm going to Insomnia 64.
Okay. So this time you're the roving reporter.
Yes. Yes, yeah. It'll be the third Insomnia I've been to.
Yeah, because wasn't it Res this weekend as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, EGX Res. Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on, and we'll go on to Gaming This Week.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
Okay, so, news this week. We have, first off, a price rise for Xbox Live, which is come out of the left field somewhat, hasn't it?
It's a bit, it's sort of out of thin air, I think, isn't it? It's really, I mean, they've not. I know you think they might actually make a press statement on some sort of medium to say this is the reasons why.
Yeah,
but no, they've they've done the Brexit on us, haven't they?
God, Brexit.
Well, people are thinking whether Brexit's to blame now.
Maybe the £10 a week is going to go to that 350 million that shaved baboon said that we would be getting.
Should I read the email? Well, actually, I've just looked online for it so I can say it. So,
well, the weird thing is, I haven't had this.
I know, and that is really weird.
Yeah, but then again, I've got about 9 months left on my subscription.
Well, I think mine doesn't finish till about June. But what it says is, so this, I'm just picking this up from another website. So, an email received by one gamer reads, as of May the 8th, the 12-month subscription fee for Xbox Live Gold is increasing from $39.99 to $49.99. To address this changed market conditions, all current subscribers will keep their current subscription fee for 90 days. So, I'm assuming if you do it per month and something like that, at one point it will have to go up.
Yeah, it'll go up after 3 months by the sound of it.
Yeah.
No, it's just one of them things, isn't it? They haven't put the price up for I can't remember the last time
they've never had put it up. It's been that all the time, isn't it?
Well, there you go. I mean, if you think about it, adjusting for inflation, it probably should have been about 60 quid now.
Yeah, but a lot of people are now saying is Brexit to blame, but, you know.
I think, to be quite honest, I think everything's going to be blamed on Brexit.
It works out a 25% price rise.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, it's another $9.99, isn't it, basically? Tenner, roughly.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say for what you get compared to what you pay for Sony, it's still a better deal.
Is it?
Well, yeah, because what you get with the free games, you don't get as much, do you, with Sony?
No, you only get half the amount of games now, but before we used to get more, and to be quite honest, most of the time, I hate saying this, but most of the time, Sony actually has a better selection.
I think it swings and roundabouts, to be honest.
It is a bit, but...
Can you hear that whistling in the ear or not?
Yeah, I can. I've just... I think it was my phone was a bit close.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a bit disappointing, but hey-ho. That's life, isn't it? This weekend as well has also been the Handsome collection has been on free play.
Yes.
When it was advertised, though, it did sound like we were getting it for free.
Yeah, well, I think obviously the Handsome collection is on the Game Pass at the moment.
It is,
but isn't it coming with a 4K patch?
There is a 4K patch for Borderlands 2. Yeah. Excuse me. So that's good, and I think that all of the big hoo-ha about this is, you know, they're making it so well advertised because there has also been an announcement for, well, you can pre-order Borderlands 3.
Yeah, I'm not swinging the trees about this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I've never been so enamoured with Borderlands, personally.
No.
But, yeah, Borderlands 3 is out 13th of September.
So, I mean, there will be people that will be looking forward to it.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know at the moment. I mean, maybe because I'm not actually thinking there's anything I'm really looking forward to off the top of my head. I really can't think of anything at the moment. It's all a bit of a damp squib at the moment, I think, gaming-wise.
Yeah. It is. Well, it's a quiet sort of time, isn't it?
Yeah, but with what's going to be coming out in the year, obviously we're going to have... we'll talk about Destiny a bit later, but there's going to be stuff coming out. But there's nothing that stands out at the minute now, I can't think of, unless you can think of anything. I don't think there's something which is, well, you know, that you'd actually want to maybe pre-order now. It's like...
No,
whatever.
I think it's going to be a bit of a quiet sort of time. But I think there was some news about Destiny 3 as well, wasn't there, out there? But I can't find what it was.
Well, I remember some of it anyway, and obviously we can talk about what's happening next week as well, which is coming as well, but we'll do that in a bit.
I mean, the other thing that was interesting that I saw, if I can just find a reference to it, was about, you know, the Starlink games. So this is the games that were released over Christmas, which were like a sci-fi version of Skylanders. Do you remember seeing those?
Okay.
Well, anyway, evidently not been doing so well.
Right.
And we've already had Lego Dimensions has gone, Disney Infinity's gone, Skylanders has gone, and now evidently this is going away the dodo as well. Which is a shame because actually it's quite a good game. I've played it. But there you go. That's just life nowadays. If it doesn't hit those numbers straight off, then there's pretty much zero tolerance for it all anyway.
Yeah.
But it is a bit of a shame. The other thing as well that I saw was about Prince Harry. Did you hear about what he's been doing?
Is this to do with Fortnite?
Yeah, he's evidently saying it shouldn't be allowed because it's creating an addictive game.
Excuse me, well, isn't most games addictive anyway?
Well, I thought that was kind of the point, yeah. But I don't know. I kind of get where he's coming from, but I kind of don't at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that the way that they've done all of these free-to-play games, I think that they're like Roblox and stuff like that as well. I think that they're very sneaky because you end up paying, if you're a kid, a lot more for the game than you would have done.
Yeah.
And I don't have an issue with the games being what people want to play. What I have an issue with is this every month or so having to get a new season pass so that you can earn all of this for cosmetic stuff and then buy cosmetic stuff as well. You know, all of these in-app purchases, it's about time that the industry got rid of them.
Well, there are some people are still claiming it's gambling, aren't they, with some stuff? So,
well, some of it is where it's loot boxes that's the gambling. It's not so much the other. Other news: Division 2. There's been changes to that as well. So there's new skill mods, weapon mods, updates as well. The Ambusher faction will appear more. There's going to be better presentation of the gear numbers so that you can tell whether or not stuff's better or worse than your existing gear. Revamped sniper turrets, which will hopefully make them more useful, and also new clothing in the game as well. So quite a few changes to that. And then also this week we've had BAFTA.
We have, yes.
Yeah, and God of War did really well, but we've had a few different things on there. So, Artistic Achievement winner was Return of the Obra Dinn. I've never even heard of that game. God of War for Best Audio Achievement. Yuku's Island Express for Best Debut Game. Nintendo Labo for Best Family Game. Yeah, My Child Lebensborn Born for Game Beyond Entertainment. Return of Obra Dinn for Best Game Design. Labo won for Best Innovation. Florence for Best Mobile. A Way Out for Best Multiplayer. And I still want to play that. I've not got it yet, but it looks really good, that.
Yeah, I've not. It's not on Game
No.
Pass, is it?
No.
I keep an eye out for that, so you never know.
Yeah. God of War won for music and for narrative as well. Into the Breach was original property. Forza Horizon 4 for British Game. Old School RuneScape for EE Mobile Game of the Year.
Surprised that won it, to be honest. I know RuneScape back in the day, my kids were playing it, but...
Yeah, well... Fortnite for Evolving Game. So, sorry, Prince Harry there. Jeremy Davies for God of War as Best Performer. Best Game overall was also God of War. So, well done to Sony for God of War there. And it is a really good game, even if it does have pre-rendered backgrounds, as Nicky would say.
There's always one.
There's always one. Play it, Nicky. It's a good game. So, yeah, a few different bits. Do you want to do the new releases?
Okay, so... New releases, we have Dangerous Driving on PS4, Xbox One and PC. That's coming out on the 9th of the 4th. Then on the 12th, we've got two games, Neo Atlas 1469 and Ultra Wings. Ultra Wings is a PSVR game.
Yeah.
And Neo Atlas is a Switch game.
Yeah.
Speaking of PSVR,
yeah.
Did you get to watch that little PlayStation announcement of all these games that will be coming out for VR?
Yeah, and particularly one of them.
Is that the Marvel one by any chance?
No.
Or is it going to be...
Not on about Iron Man.
No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky. Which is going to be a free update for us all. So you'll be able to play it as well.
I've only got it on Xbox, I think.
Well, buy it now before the price goes up.
You can get it probably dirt cheap, actually, if I have a look. Maybe on eBay or something.
Or at CEX as well.
Yeah.
Seriously, I would get down there this week and buy it before it gets formally released, because that price will hike.
Excuse me. Yeah. So what do you reckon to this Iron Man one? That might be pretty cool.
Yeah, I can see that working in a game. I've still got loads of VR games to play, though.
Well, there's loads of games still just to play full stop, whether they're VR or what, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but absolutely specifically VR, because I've got that robot one. I forgot what it's called.
I haven't tried the Batman one yet.
I thought you played that.
No, I hadn't. I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, sure, you said you played that.
No.
I haven't done Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Oh,
and I've also got the Next Generation pack as well.
Yeah. When I'm off call, we need to go on that, and we can load it with, unless we can grab 4 people that would want to play it. I'm sure. I think I know a couple of people that would probably want to join us.
Yeah.
But that was one of the best VR multiplayer fun that I've ever had.
Yeah.
Through an evening, and that lasted well into the early, well, not early hours, but it is just something to play, and it's unbelievable. If you're, being a Star Trek geek as we are, honestly, actually, even when we played we played with the Next Gen. I think we played Next Gen, and then we played with the Enterprise, which will be for the reboot series.
Right, Kelvin's timeline.
Yeah, on the Kelvin. But also we played the original Enterprise as well.
Right.
With all the coloured dots on the panels.
In other words, you played all of them.
Yeah, but the one with the coloured dots is so hard, so you have to have little menu lines pop up to know what they do, because there's so many buttons there.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing listening to those sounds in your headset when you're sitting there on tactical or whatever,
Yeah. No, I really do want to play it, but I've just not got round to it. It just feels like a bit more of a hassle to actually get the VR unit out.
Really?
Which is why I never bother, yeah.
You only got to plug 2 cables into a box and then you sit in a chair?
Yeah, but it's in a different room as well.
Oh, okay.
Because it's downstairs, so I can only do it at certain times.
Yeah.
Because while I have some room in my study, if I was flinging my arms about, I could hit something that I don't want to break. So
well, to be honest though, with that sort of game, you're not going to do anything. You're going to sit in a chair.
Yeah.
And you're going to use your hands and point to things, and you might well spin in your chair.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I've got the PC VR in the study, but not PSVR. That's downstairs in the living room. So basically, so that my son can play as well, because he does flail his arms all over the place, and I'd be worried for everything in here if it was playing PSVR in here, to be honest with you. But no, it's definitely one that I've got there sitting waiting to have a go on. But I've got other ones as well. I've got several on PSVR to play. Yeah. So one of them things.
Do you want to do video game shots while I actually plug in my Alexa so I can turn the lights on in there?
Okay.
It's getting dark. Bear with me one second. You crack on.
All right. So at number 5, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. At number 4, we have FIFA 19. At number 3, we have Sicario, Shadows Die Twice. At number 2, we have Tom Clancy's Division 2. And at number 1, we have Yoshi's Crafted World. So, Games for Gold. Yeah, that's it. There's not a lot sort of the top 5 anyways, that we always do. So do you want to go through Games for Gold? I know that most people probably have picked up these so far, but...
Just we might edit this out, excuse me a minute. Excuse me. Oh dear, a bit of cough. Okay. The Technomancer, Xbox One, available obviously April the 1st to the 30th. We have the Outcast Second Contact, that is April the 16th to May the 15th. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, we're talking Xbox original here.
Yeah.
This is April the 1st to the 15th. And
kind of feels a bit like an April Fool's joke, to be honest.
It does, doesn't it? But the one actually, out of all of that, the one I'm most interested in is this last one here, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2. And that's coming out on April the 16th to the 31st.
I've actually got that.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. Bought that back in the day.
Yeah. So everyone now... Turn the volume down while I go, Alexa, lights on. And she's thinking about it. There you go.
There we go.
Now.
Okay, so on PlayStation side, we have Conan Exiles and The Surge.
Is that it?
That's it. But to be fair, they're 2 good games.
Conan Exile, is that the one where you have to build your character from the beginning and they can look a bit silly? their physique?
Yes, you can have a your tackle
larger
out,
than life.
your tackle out, shall we say?
Yeah.
But also the Surge is like a sci-fi Dark Souls. So it plays very sort of similar and, very kind of Groundhog Day, rinse and repeat sort of thing. I quite like that game. I've done a few videos on, gameplays of it, so have a look at our YouTube channel to be able to see some of those. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's quite a cool game. So cool. I think that's a good one. Twitch sort of side, we have Her Story, Inner Space, Juggernauts, and Keep in Mind Remastered.
Don't know any of those, but Inner Space, is that anything to do with the movie?
I don't think so.
Which is class, actually, by the way. I really enjoy that one.
It is Joe Dante.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. I also got The Burbs.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Do you know I haven't seen it in a donkeys because I was listening to the Film 89 podcast, their latest one. Yeah. Which was to do with The Burbs and Joe Dante.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, that was why I bought it.
Oh, was it? Have you listened to it then?
I've watched it, yeah.
No, I mean, have you listened to the podcast?
Oh, yeah, I listened to that as well.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't actually own The Burbs. I actually need to pick that up myself, to be honest.
Right.
It is a class movie. Whether it's Tom Hanks' best isn't everything to be, I don't think so as such. But yeah, it's still a good film.
No, but Carrie Fisher's good in it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of good actors in that.
Yeah, you forget, some of the people who were actually in that. But yeah, that set, it looks like, what do you call it, Desperate Housewives as well.
What, you mean the street cul-de-sac?
Yeah, kind of like.
But it looks very. It looks like Joe Dante. It looks very Spielberg neighborhood like.
Yeah, very much so. But it is one of my favourite films back from that sort of genre, or that era, I should say, not genre. Anyway, what you been playing, Steve? Or should I say, it's Destiny time?
It's gaming this week. Excuse me. So, Destiny this week, yeah, I've had a lot of fun this week. So firstly, I picked up the Thorn. Finally got to do the last quest. Obviously, for some people, they thought it was a bit difficult doing the Crucible part of it, which is the last but one quest.
I think that's a comment that is aimed at me.
No, not necessarily, because Chris feels the same way as you.
Yeah.
So, but to be honest, when we had Iron Banana last week.
Yeah.
And for those that would have done it by that, it was very easy to get that part of the quest done.
Apart from the fact that, to be honest, the reason why I thought, shall I do it? And I thought, no, I don't want to sit and grind through hours and hours of Crucible. So I'm just going to, because occasionally, very occasionally, I drop into Crucible. So at some point I will get the Thorn.
Eventually,
but it's going to be a long time because I dislike the Crucible most of the time. And you must
remember to use, you've got to use hand cannons, and also especially with Void as well.
Yeah.
But
which is my least favourite weapon as well.
Yeah. But anyway, so then we had the last quest, which is a Nightfall version of one of the quests. And this is the one that takes you to the end where you have I'm trying to think what they, because my memory is just terrible this week. It really is bad. But you got the enemy that opens up with a circle inside and it's always firing everything out. Do you know what I mean? They're shaped like a diamond, but I just don't ask me what they're called. I'm sure people will be screaming at me, telling me which ones they are. But
by that description, I can't think of which one on
really
earth you're talking about.
They're shaped like a diamond, and they open up with a circle inside, and then they just fire out, and then they close up, and you can't kill them till they're open again.
Oh, the Shriekers.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I know the one. Yeah, so you're in the cave, and then eventually what you've got to do is
it
get
moves
the
around,
orb and then jump up when he's up there.
Well, the extra part of the quest, though. Now, first of all, it's like a Nightfall one, and it is hard. You can't do it on your own. You've got to have three of you. But at one point, you have these two spawned extra enemies to kill. Now, the first time I did it, with a couple of colleagues, and we didn't kill the ogres quick enough before we did the main boss. and it didn't drop. And we were there for about an hour and a half doing this quest, you know, this part of it on this quest. So then a few days later, they popped up and they said, "Oh, we're going to go for it now." I said, "Yeah, I've got time. And we sort of creamed it all the way through, to be honest, to a certain degree, even though he still had it a bit tough because those enemies will kill you pretty quickly.
Yes, they will. They always do on a nightfall.
You know, it can be dreadful sometimes. But we did the last part. We must have redid that last part about 6 times when we died. But it finally popped and you saw the gun appear in front of your very eyes. And to be honest, it is a great little weapon to play with, especially even in PvE. You know, forget PvP for a minute. Just running around with that gun, just a couple of shots and watching them just fade away and die is brilliant.
Well, the Thorn weapon on the original Destiny was the only hand cannon I would use. I didn't like the last word. But that if you remember, once I got it, I was rocking that all the time.
Yeah. So the other weapon I got this week was the 21% delirium machine gun.
Yeah. Now,
to get this weapon, you go to Gambit and you pick up a quest from him. This is the pinnacle weapon for this season. And it's called Notorious Hustle. So what you have to do within this, you have to do 75 multi-kills and get 100% on killing envoys and primevals, which is a bit slow going because there's a few you got to kill to get to 100%. And then the last part, you got to rank up on your infamy as well, which I persevered at. For some people, that may well be a bit of a grind. You got to play a lot of Gambit to do that. But it was well worth it because it is a great machine gun.
Yeah, and I think that this is where the line starts to really get drawn between players like myself who like playing Destiny and will play quite a few hours of it, and players like yourself who will do the grind. Because I won't do the grind. I'm not bothered about all of that. Well, I want to play it for fun. When it starts to feel like I'm doing a job,
but but it's not a job to me. That's the funny with me. I mean, Gambit's one of my favourite modes at the moment, and going in every day, picking up the bounties, which help you as well to go around the ranks, is fine. You know,
yeah.
It's it doesn't take long if you're just playing it a little bit every night, and I do enjoy it. I really do. So what we have coming up on Tuesday with Reset, we have got Arc Week. Have you heard about this at all?
I have.
So I don't know too much, but what we're going to get is we're going to get Arc bounties for this week, but we're going to get some improvements on our Arc powers, shall I say?
Yeah.
So they're going to improve. They're going to work slightly different. I'm not sure whether we'll keep them as they are. I hope they do.
I bet we would.
But we'll see how that plays out. So that'll be coming next week from Tuesday. Also, with what you were talking about earlier, were you on about Destiny 3 playing down Crucible for Destiny 3? Was that what
No, it was something else, but I can't remember what it was, to be honest.
So, obviously, Destiny 3 is probably a little way away, but somewhere, I don't know how this appeared, but because they've lost a couple of their other designers, it's seemed to have snowballed to say that there's not going to be Crucible for the new Destiny 3, which will come out probably a couple of years' time, I would have thought. And Bungie were doing a Gambit playthrough with the community. And they played it down and saw and said, no, this is not the case. And in the same time said, we've got some great new things to come for Crucible as well. So I don't think it's disappearing anywhere. What I do think is that we're going to get a new season pass in September for another year, because I don't think we're going to see Destiny 3.
I don't think it'll be till next year.
No. It was going to be, if anything, it'd be once a new Xbox is out.
Maybe.
To be honest.
Maybe.
But I don't mind them doing another season pass for the year. No problem with that at all. I mean, that's how these RPGs or games can work, don't they? They just bring out these passes for you.
Yeah. It's the model of them. And to be honest, I'd rather have that than I would something like Fortnite.
Absolutely. I know there's probably quite a few people here that may like Fortnite that listen to the show, but for me, it doesn't work for me. It's not my cup of tea at all. No. But the way that Destiny brings it to you, with how they are working at bringing out more content with the pass, and for people that don't want to pay for the pass, I think it's great. And there's going to be, I'm sure we've got more stuff to come. Before September. We got another season yet, and even with Xur's changing, we got the little quests we get from Xur at the moment.
Yeah,
which sometimes play out a little cutscene, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to lead to something in the end. What they're going to do is they're going to make sure you don't miss out. So if you miss 1 week where you can't do it with Xur, that will be your next one of the week. So you will eventually catch up, by doing them. You won't miss out. Also, just one quick thing about Arc Week. They are bringing the quest back for the Thunderlord. So if you missed out on that, that's going to become available next week.
Yeah, I did miss out on that.
So I know I remember you talking about that a little while ago. So you might want to start the quest on both PC and Xbox.
I probably will, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a great weapon. Also, I need to, before Arc Week kicks in, I need to get that up to rank that to 700. So I've got a feeling that's going to come useful.
Yeah, definitely agree.
So moving on, which we'll talk with you together. Do you want to do your little Destiny 2 bit, and then we can chat about Assassin's Creed 3 together?
Well, nothing more to say really than what you've already said, other than I've got on the PC a bit more progression in terms of thought. I think I'm about 5% of the way through the Crucible. I've only played a few games. But other than that, not really done an awful lot. I think my PC character's catching up my Xbox character well and truly now. My PlayStation characters are long gone and forgotten.
Well, you can only do so much, can't you, really? Do you know?
Well, especially with a grinding game like Destiny. Otherwise you are really a masochist, aren't you?
Oh, God, yeah. Well, just any sort of game like that is,
Yeah, and it's not the only sort of game like that I'm playing, so...
That's true. So, what's your thoughts on Assassin's Creed 3? Now, it's not really well advertised, the fact that it's there to download.
No, and it's quite hard to find in your list as well.
Because I had to find my pass.
Yeah.
And then within there, I was able to find, even though I haven't got to it yet, because I've not completed the game like you have, obviously, there's other 3 parts of content. There's some more story stuff there.
Yeah, there is, because there is... Well, you get Liberation with it as well, which was a PSP game originally.
Yeah.
But there is also like an alternative world sort of storyline as well, which is a bit surreal.
But so it's so much content. It's not bad, is it? Really?
Well, no, because if you bought the Odyssey season pass, then you get this for free.
That's
or if
right.
you got the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, I mean, I had the gold edition, as they called it.
Yeah, I had the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, so both of us got all that DLC plus the remaster of
2 games.
3. Yeah, and just if you're not realising, because we did talk about this earlier, when you bring up the page for the remastered Assassin's Creed 3, there's an arrow there to skip along, and you'll find Liberation underneath it.
Yes.
Otherwise, if you just left it there and you think, well, where's Liberation? It is there, but you got to dig to find it.
Yeah, it does it all in one install. Unlike before when it was 2.
Yeah. But what's your thoughts? I don't think it don't look bad, to be honest. I mean, I don't remember the game that well because I didn't get on with it at first.
Well, I think, to be honest, a lot of people will probably agree with this. Assassin's Creed 3 is arguably where the rot started to fall into Assassin's Creed. Some people will say Revelations. Personally, I didn't have a problem with Revelations at all. But in terms of Assassin's Creed, most people also don't like the main protagonist, which is a guy called Connor.
Well, it's Mr. Kenway at first, isn't it?
It is, apart from there is a twist with him.
Yes, which I don't know it yet, so
no,
we won't mention that. But yeah, because you've got Connor's the native Indian, isn't it? Is that correct?
Half native Indian.
I thought he said half naked then.
No,
but yeah.
Yeah. But he has a different Indian name, but he's known as Connor for most of the game.
Yeah.
But he doesn't actually turn up until sequence 4.
Oh, okay, so I've got a little way to go because I've only just played out the open credit sequence and landed in Boston in the States. So
so you'll have gone through a long walk with Charles Lee.
Yeah, that's what I've just done that, and I've had to go to a shop. A general store, as they call it.
Yeah, that's right at the beginning of the game.
And that's as much as I've got to this afternoon because I thought I must give it a go. And I didn't know if you'd played, so I thought I better play this just in case you haven't, because then I'll be able to say I've done something you haven't in Assassin's Creed, but you obviously did it anyway. But
no, I was straight on this because I love Assassin's Creed in all of its things, but this is my least favourite one of the games. But I think Black Flag, I actually completed as well. But
yeah, I did. I love Black Flag.
Yeah, but other than Odyssey, I haven't completed any of the ones after Black Flag.
Oh, so you haven't? I've done. Which one have I done? Which has got Jack the Ripper in it?
Syndicate.
Is it Syndicate or was it the other one?
Syndicate.
What's the one before that?
Unity.
I completed Unity.
Yeah.
And the DLC.
Yeah.
I don't think I've completed Syndicate though, but I do have the extra DLC for Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, I have that as well. Well, as a matter of fact, I've got it on 3 systems.
Yeah, but those games aren't that bad actually. They've improved again at that point.
I think they were starting to get better. But I think it's one of those things that I was probably just in a slightly different place. Mm-hmm. So I didn't play that much of them. And Unity I was a bit disillusioned with.
Well, that's because of the brief we had with the graphical in problems that it did have.
Yes.
That I never got, but there you go. But doing the Paris bit, I quite enjoyed that. And yeah, really good. And obviously, I did pick up, and I've not actually gone back to it. I did pick up is it the remaster of the Enzo stories?
Ezio.
I got them on disc.
Ezio Auditore.
Yeah, and they are some of my favourite Assassin's Creed stories.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, personally, I really like Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Those were my 2 favourite ones, particularly 2.
Yeah. But
I still have a lot of love for the original as well. I think it's a great game. It was a start of, for me, a very big love for this as a franchise. So, I'm a great fan of Assassin's Creed. Really, I like the Desmond story that's in the Ezio collection as well. Which I don't feel that they haven't gone in that direction since, which I think is a really great shame, because I really, it needs something in the modern day element of the game.
Right.
Which you don't have. And that is a crying shame. I think, the continuation, so that it built up into something that would explain what's happening with the assassins and Aspergo and the Templars.
Yeah.
Because Aspergo is the Templars. So, explain what's happening with them now. Because obviously, you've got in Assassin's Creed 3, it's the conclusion of the Desmond storyline. And see if you recognise the voice of his dad.
Is that the guy that does the voiceover at the beginning? John DeLance from Star Trek. Yeah.
Yes.
I knew that. I recognise it straight away.
You recognise his voice straight away. Well, he's Desmond Miles' father.
Right, yeah, because I thought, that's John DeLance. Yeah, or Delancey, how you pronounce it.
Delancey. Yeah. So, and he's absolutely great in anything that he does anyway. But, I mean, in terms of it as a remaster, I think, to be honest, what they did with Assassin's Creed 3 was take the previous Assassin's Creeds and made them bigger. And then they stuck them in, American history, basically. That's exactly what it is. But in making it bigger, it didn't make it as good. Yeah. Just because it's bigger doesn't mean it's better. And there was a lot of sort of space between places for you to get to. They introduced all of this about, if you were running through snow, it would slow you down, which was a bit of a pain, to be honest. So there's aspects of the game that are just not really quite as good. And also, Connor is really whiny as well as a character.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it has all of the hallmarks of Assassin's Creed, just the same as all of the other games. This is where they, I think the first time that they actually brought in the naval battles where you're, doing the ship before, because this was a forerunner to Black Flag, obviously, and Rogue as well. So there's that sort of aspect in there. But I think in terms of the polish that they've given it for a remaster, I don't think that you would notice that it was a remaster until you were seeing it side by side, and there is a difference. So, there's more detail in this version than there is in the original.
I think, it does. Graphically, it's well enhanced.
Yes. But it's not the type of stuff that you're going to notice straight away.
No. I mean, don't expect all the faces to look amazing, because they do look good, but they look better. But they're still not going to have every hairline and crack of a face, if you know what I mean.
They look like more highly rendered 360 faces. That's what they look like. Because that's exactly what they are, basically. with slightly better textures.
Yeah.
But you don't expect the Assassin's Creed Odyssey sort of style, because you're not going to get that.
No.
But having said all of that, I still actually, I've completed this game on 3 platforms. Mm-hmm. And I actually enjoy it still, even though it's probably the worst one out of all of the Assassin's Creeds. I still enjoy it as a game. So, yeah, that's me. What about yourself?
I mean, I am a big fan over the years of Assassin's Creed. If you look at my library on the Xbox, they're all there.
Yeah.
I've got the first, all the 360 ones are there, and all the 2D scrolling platform games are there, and I have been a fan over the years. I don't know what it was about the first one, but I did feel a bit shortchanged with that, because I think the collecting the feathers. Not that I shouldn't worry about that, because I should be able to grind anything like that normally. But they are great games. I have enjoyed them. I'm even picking up again the Ezio collection as well, which it's like, there's plenty of things to go back to play.
Oh, absolutely.
But I love the franchise, and I need to go back to the last 2, the one now at the moment, and the one before that. I get confused now with the titles. It's a bit crazy. So Odyssey was the last one.
Yeah.
And then the one before that was in Egypt.
It was Origins. So yeah, I don't think I've not even completed Origins, to be honest.
But hey ho, it's.
I haven't completed Origins, I'll be honest, but I have completed Odyssey.
Well, yeah, we know that. But no, they're great games, and I'm glad they gave it a little bit of a break.
Well, did they? Because they did release the 2.5D platformer games during that. Well,
they did, yeah. And also we got, which I haven't played yet. We got the Assassin's Creed. Is it Rogue?
Yes. Which
came out on the 360 at the same time as Black
Unity.
Flag. Was it Black Flag or Unity? I can't think which one.
It was Unity, because
Unity?
Black Flag came out on both.
Yeah, so we had that as well. Obviously, Liberation now I've never seen because that was a PSP, but we now got that as well.
Yeah.
So I think I have everything that's Assassin's Creed on my hard drive.
Right.
Whether it's 360 or above. So, yeah, good game. Anyway, should we, let's talk about, first of all, how'd you get on with Nicky with Resident Evil 5? How'd you get on with that?
We got on all right. He got quite frustrated with me because I kept not reloading my weapon as soon as I fired it. Quite OCD-ish about it, I think it was.
He's terrible, isn't he?
He is. Kept telling me off, reload your weapon! For God's sake.
I will reload it when I'm ready.
Yeah. Apart from the fact that then, as a result, I ended up dying because I hadn't reloaded my weapon, which wasn't probably the best thing.
Yeah.
But we did have a good laugh with it as well. To be honest, the controls in that game are really hard to get used to. When you think that game controls haven't really evolved, they have. Even, because let's face it, it's not that long ago that Resident Evil 5, is it? Or is it?
It's a fair way ago.
I can't remember how long ago it was, to be honest.
I don't remember which E3 it was. I remember him showing the demo of it. Showing, having two people. For the co-op side of it.
Well, anyway, Resident Evil's not my full bag. I prefer other games than Resident Evil nowadays. I used to love them on the PS1 and PS2, but since then I've kind of gone away from it as a genre.
Okay.
But I don't know. I enjoyed it. I want to complete the game with Nicky as well, so we were going to do some this weekend, but I ended up not getting home until much later on Friday.
Yeah. Well, Nicky's got some weird hours anyway, bless him for work.
He does, he does. So, as a result of that, we never played, but hopefully I'll catch up with him this weekend coming. So, yeah, it was good, and it's remembering some of the moves. Like the fact that you could, if you shot them down so that they fell, and then stomp on them to kill them rather than using all of your bullets and things like that. And I'd completely forgotten all of that because I haven't played this since the 360 days.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a long time ago. But yeah, if you can get over the controls, it's a good game.
And what about Resident Evil 2? Come on, because you got to finish this game.
Oh, God, yeah, I have. Apart from the fact I made the fatal mistake of not saving in the right time and he ended up getting killed. And it put me back absolutely ages because I was streaming it and I thought, do you know what? I can't be bothered at the moment. And I switched it off and I didn't go back.
So what happened? So you die and what have you gone back to?
I probably lost about 15, 20 minutes. Maybe 30 minutes of gameplay.
So you're playing the Leon scenario, yeah?
I am, yeah.
And you are now then on the last sequence for the train, to get to the train, yeah?
No, well before then.
So have you done the chess pieces?
No. No.
So have you got all the chess pieces to put in the panels to open the door?
To go down into the cellar, you mean, and fight off the guy with the big blobby eye?
Do you know, I can't remember now where comes what, but there's at one point there, you've got a room where you have like 6 electrical panels, and you've got to put a chess piece in each panel.
No, I'm not anywhere near that.
So you've got like the rook, the bishop, whatever you call them.
No, not anywhere near that.
Oh, God, you've got a little way to go yet then.
Oh, yeah. I got to just past the... Well, I'm back to just past the bit from coming back from where Mr. X turns up, being back in the central room.
So have you played the part yet? Have you just swapped characters yet?
No.
Oh, God, you got a long way to go yet then.
I know. I've got a long, long way to go.
So you come out the car park.
I've been in the car park. I've done all of the car park bit.
Have you got
gone
into
the
cells? Out of the car park yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, God, yeah, you have got a long way to go. Yeah.
No, I got to the point where I'd gone to the guy in the cell where you find out that you've got the pass. Yeah. Yeah. And I'd already gone the other side where, all the dogs are. And I went there first rather than going towards the guy because I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'd done all of that, cleared out all of that, done lots of wandering around, went down there, came back, went to the other side. I was going to the STARS office for something. I can't remember why I was around there. And I thought I'd killed the clicker thing. Not clicker, that's wrong franchise, but,
Licker.
The liquor, that's it. And I think, was it there or no, I was going through a room and I ended up getting ambushed in 3 directions, 1 by Mr. X and 2 by zombies on either way, and I was on next to no health and it killed me. And then it put me all the way back to just after, the Mr. X pushing a helicopter to one side, and I thought, I can't be bothered anymore.
Oh, so you
so I'd got a good way, but obviously not anywhere near actually getting the key card. So
you're back in the police station.
I never got out of the police station.
Oh God, okay. So you got out of the first part of the police station with getting the cogs in the clock tower.
I was on the process of getting the cogs. That's where I was.
Oh, right. So that's what leads you down to the car park.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
It doesn't actually. There's another bit before that. But
yeah, there is. But I was basically there. So it was just a bit frustrating, and it was late at night, and I thought, I cannot be bothered anymore tonight, and I switched it off. And then I went on to other stuff. I said, it's not really my bag, is that game.
But it's really, I know some other people would say, but it's really good, and it is really good. It's worth getting to the end of the story.
It is really good. It's just not my bag.
Mm.
We can't like every game.
Well, no, of course not.
So, anyway. Anything else on gaming?
No, we can move swiftly on.
All right, in that case then, we'll move on to movies, TV and streaming.
In quest of a better life.
All right, so movies, TV and streaming this week. Steve, you've got some news for us, so do you want to share that with us?
Okay, yeah. So the first one is a little bit of sad news. As I had a childhood growing up with Thunderbirds, the voice that played Scott Tracy, Shane Rimmer, he passed away last week.
Yeah. And
he was 89.
God, was he?
Here he was. And wow. I did listen. If you want to listen to it, it's well worth it. If you dig out, if you go and search for the podcast to do with Jerry Anderson.
Yeah.
There is a great interview where he goes around his house. Jamie Anderson goes around his house and has a chat with him, having a cup of tea in his kitchen.
Uh-huh.
And it's well worth a listen. The guy's a legend. Because his wife always keeps reminding him of stuff because he's not 100%, but she sort of pops up and says, well, what about this, love? Do you remember this and this? It's just so sweet. But yeah, he was very much loved. And it's funny, as I say, if you don't know him from playing Scott Tracy for the voice of Thunderbirds, he was in Superman 2. He was in The Spy Who Loved Me. He's done all sorts of stuff. Yeah,
he's got a long film acting career, hasn't he?
Well, his acting career on the Internet Movie Database is 165 movies.
It's unbelievable, that, isn't it?
Yeah. And I've got a funny feeling. So he obviously, one of your favourites, A Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah.
So he played alongside Roger Moore because he was in one of the submarines that got kidnapped by the on the boat, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right. He was.
And obviously he was a naval transporter commander in Superman.
Yeah.
And he was actually uncredited. He was in Star Wars: A New Hope as well. Believe it or not.
Can't remember what part he actually played in that.
And he's even played the voice as an Eagle pilot in Space 1999.
Space 1999.
Which I'm watching at the moment because they're on Forces TV at the moment.
Yeah, there's some good programs on that.
So if you go to Channel 181, you will see stuff like Land of the Giants as well.
Oh, classic.
Space 1999, The Equalizer, Starsky and Hutch. So always well worth a go. So yeah, so obviously he was also uncredited as well in Live and Let Die, and also he was in The Protectors. He was in Diamonds Are Forever again, uncredited for that. He was in UFO the TV series. He was in Joe 90, Captain Scarlet. Also, You Only Live Twice as a Hawaiian radar operator. So the man's done so much stuff.
You said Superman 2, didn't you?
As well, yeah.
Because he was also in Superman and Superman 3.
Yeah, Superman 3 as well. I didn't see what that was. I would just stroll past it because there was so many things here to look at. But yeah, but his voice is so recognisable.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so yeah, so that was it. Also,
Rollerball as well. He was in.
Yeah, he was in Rollerball. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you might have been the wrong age for it.
No, I saw it. I think I saw it. In the 80s sometime. Can't remember when. He was also in Doctor Who as well.
Yeah, he's done everything.
Yeah. Such a shame, but, it comes to all of us, doesn't it?
It will do, yeah. One time you might be even reading my obituary one day, you never know.
Or you, mine.
Also, something else we got this week, news-wise. On the 4th of June, we are getting the 30th anniversary of Batman, and we're getting the 4K collection.
Yeah.
So we're going to have Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. I don't talk about the last two very much because, for me, they're bad movies.
No, I'm going to argue against you on one of them
because I know I'm just not keen with George Clooney and.
No, George Clooney one was terrible. With the bat nipples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Val Kilmer. Was that one because I'm going for takeout? I mean, sorry, it's just a little bit cringeworthy, some of it.
Val Kilmer one was fine. It wasn't anywhere near as good as the Michael Keaton ones because, well, it was Michael Keaton versus Val Kilmer. We know which one is the best every time.
Yeah, obviously.
And it ain't Val Kilmer. But I didn't mind the Val Kilmer one.
Is it the villains that hold it for you? So, I mean, because of the stars they were using.
Yeah, because it was.
I mean, I from that point of view, they felt like they were the 60s versions of the villains.
But that's where they were going with it.
They were. I liked darker though. I must admit, I did like the Danny Elfman take on it. But
you look, yeah, the in Batman 2. They were starting to go towards the cartoon, or towards the Adam West sort of style with the penguins.
Well, no, I don't know. No, I think that was still dark enough. I know what you're saying about
No, it was dark enough, but they had that aspect in. But I think that they took it a little bit further with the Val Kilmer one, and then it just went ridiculous on the George Clooney one. But in terms of the Val Kilmer one, I actually quite liked him as Bruce Wayne. And I know he's not the best actor or whatever, but I quite like that take on it. It was a bit different, well, very different to Michael Keaton's. But to me, you had, I've forgotten what's he called? I can see his face.
Go on.
It was Two-Face.
Yeah, which was yeah, I know you're on about. Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. I could just think Tommy and I couldn't think anything else. My mind was a blank. And Jim Carrey is the Riddler.
I mean, that was very well thought out, but he was the right sort of character to play that.
He was a perfect Riddler, really. The only other role he could have done would have been the Joker, I think. But it would have been a very different Joker to Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
But, no, as the Riddler and Edward Enigma, which I thought was quite cool, I quite liked him. Yeah. And also, don't forget, I mean, Jim Carrey does it as a shout out to the original Joker. But you know what I'm like when I'm playing Destiny, and if we've been trying to get anyone, and I go, I got him, which is the, exactly what Jim Carrey does in the Batman movie.
Well, you see, really, I mean, you had quite a good little cast list there, because you had obviously Nicole Kidman as well, and you had Chris O'Donnell playing Robin.
Yeah.
Michael Gough, which I did love playing Alfred from Michael Keaton anyway. And Drew Barrymore was in it as well.
Yes, she was.
And then one for Star Trek was Rennie Aubergine. I always call him Aubergine, but I never pronounce his surname.
Yeah. Nicole Kidman as well was a love interest.
Yeah, but it's just, But then when you get to the next one,
that was dreadful.
But then it had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. It's very difficult, because he's such a great artist in his own right. And also, one of my favourites is Uma Thurman. I think she's great in anything she does.
Yeah.
She is a sexy minx. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that now. She is. It doesn't matter what she plays, and whether it's Kill Bill or whatever.
Yeah, but it was a terrible movie. It had too many comic cliches in it. It's like, the Bat card. I never leave the Bat cave without it. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was a few.
It was completely cringeworthy, and to be honest, a complete waste of Arnold Schwarzenegger's talents.
Yeah, Alicia Silverstone played Batgirl.
Yes.
And they brought back, I don't think he's in, but they brought back Pat Hingle, who played Commissioner Gordon in the first movie.
Yeah.
Which was nice. And then you had the supermodel Ellie McPherson, who's lovely as well. But, yeah, I know, there's only so much. And we can nitpick Batman till the cows come home.
We can.
But if you want all four as a box set, they'll be out on the 4th of June. If you want them singly, they'll be out on September the 17th.
Yeah, I have to admit I'm quite happy with my Blu-ray version of them as standard HD. And have that upscaled.
Well, I've got... Ironically, I have Batman running in the background at the minute, the Michael Keaton Blu-ray.
Yeah. And
I haven't played it... I don't think I've played it on my player in the other room yet, just to see where it looks any better. But a lot of people are dissing the covers as well.
Why?
Because I don't think they're very good covers. I don't know if you can Google it, you'll see what the covers look like for the 4K.
Right.
They're not the covers that you would get originally from the posters. They're just drawn, sketched characters on the front.
I wonder why they've done that.
Well, I tweeted something. One of the guys said about it. I said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just take that one out, take that sleeve out, get my Blu-ray Batman one and put it in its place. Why not? Because it still says 4K on the box. But I'm hoping they do pull out all the stops for the Batman one, because it is its 30th anniversary, which is horrendous to think about, let alone, Aliens at 40 years. Yeah. Batman's at 30.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
It is. Anyhow,
yes.
That's my news. Do you want to do cinema releases?
Okay, so cinema releases. 8th of April, we have Wonder Park. On the 11th of April, we have Hellboy. On the 12th of April, we have mid-90s, Little, Laura 1 and Wild Rose.
Okay.
So, Steve, what Blu-rays and DVDs are you fancying out of the selection coming out? Because there's a few good ones.
Alvin and the Chipmunks No, not really.
And you secretly want that one, don't you?
Actually, there's one there.
You've pre-ordered it.
I don't. There's one. I've got a DVD of it already, and that's about a boy.
Yeah, I like that film. It's a good film.
I love that film to bits. I really, really do. I love the score to it as well, with with that as well. It's really good. Aquaman comes to mind. Blu-ray, 3D, 4K, and DVD.
Just as a question, what's the link between About a Boy and X-Men?
It's going to be the guy that played the boy plays in X-Men as one of the... I can't think which character he played now.
Yeah, he played Marcus Brewer, but he also played the Beast in X-Men, and that's Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did know that. And
pop trivia fans.
Boy. Okay, so just scrolling through, we've got Hollow Man and Hollow Man 2, Blu-ray Collector's Edition. I'd stick with the first one.
I have to admit, I didn't like either of them.
Didn't you?
No, I thought they were both quite poor.
Because also the love interest in Hollow Man, she's very nice. She was in Back to the Future as well, and she was in Cocktail, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
Anyway, Men in Black 1 to 3 Blu-ray DVD.
I think I've already got that on Blu-ray. I think that's re-release.
Could well be, because obviously we're getting the new one coming out soon.
Yeah.
So that may well be the reason for it.
It might well be.
One here that I would certainly recommend for stand-up, and because he's an absolute legend. A lot of you guys will not know of him too much for his stand-up, but if
I think you'd be surprised. The majority of our listeners, I think, are actually a bit older. A bit older. I think that
Richard Pryor live on Sunset Strip is an absolute laugh and a half.
Yes, Richard Pryor is brilliant.
It's fantastic, and with some of the content they're using, that no holds back, I tell you.
Yeah.
One here you've got highlights actually, which it's all right. Probably after a few drinks. Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah, it's a good laugh. Bit of Mel Brooks.
Yeah. We've got the Jerk Blu-ray, which is Steve Martin.
Classic movie for Steve Martin.
Absolutely.
Just want the man with two brains to go with it.
Oh God, yeah. What a classic that is. You got The Rage Carrie 2, which I don't think exists in my head anyway, to be honest.
Right.
But you do have it. Secret of My Success, wasn't that Michael J. Fox?
Michael J. Fox, yeah.
It was, wasn't it?
It was.
We've got This Time with Alan Partridge Series 1.
Have you been watching that?
I haven't been watching that yet. Is it any good? Have you?
To me, I think Alan Partridge was best when he was I'm Alan Partridge. I didn't like Knowing Me, Knowing You that much. And to me, I think that this time is a bit like that.
Yeah. Well, you see, for me, Alan Partridge is the 2 seasons where he's just been ousted from his TV show. He's doing a radio show.
I'm Alan Partridge.
Yeah. And obviously he's living in the hotel in the first series.
Yeah.
And the second series, he's in a camper van.
Yeah.
Waiting to buy this house, and he's got his Russian girlfriend.
God, yeah. And the Bond one. No, you're doing Bond wrong.
Yeah, it's when he does Timothy Dalton with a Welsh accent. It's hilarious. But that's really great. There's don't think much more else out at the minute.
No, I think
just look at the ones that you've got unticked or unhighlighted there. A Bronx Tale. No, I don't think that's what I'm thinking of. That might be kids stuff. I don't think.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a few in there. Anything out?
No, that like I said, the ones.
Oh, actually, there's one there I want to say that you haven't highlighted.
What's that?
And I like this film. This stars Christopher Reeve and oh my God, it's just
Jane Seymour.
Thank you. Yeah, Somewhere in Time.
That is a classic film. I didn't even actually see that. Where is that? But it's out on Blu-ray as well. I'll get that then.
It is a wonderful love story movie.
It is. Yeah,
that's me. Anyway, excuse me. Do you want to? You're going to do the cinema charts for me?
I'll do the cinema charts. So at number 5, we have. I've lost it. So I just moved my screen because I couldn't see it. What Men Want. So that's a very short film. Mm-hmm. Cough Sweets, A Fisherman's Friend at number 4. Us at number 3. Captain Marvel at number 2. And at number 1, God knows how, Dumbo.
Well, because it's Dumbo and it's Disney.
Because it's kids' movie.
Before I do the Blu-ray DVD charts, I must. Oh no! I'll wait till we get to what we've been watching. Because I've just thought of something else.
Right.
Okay,
so the charts.
So the Blu-ray DVD charts. In at 5, we have Robin Hood, which is the one with the guy from Kingsman, isn't it?
It is.
It is. In at 4, we have Doctor Who: The Mark of Terror, which I think is an old BBC episode. We have got down from 2 to 3, your favourite, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yep.
In at 2, one of my favourite series of movies, we have Creed 2. And in at 1, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, which I've yet to see yet as well. So actually, I need to see the top 3 at the moment.
I don't want to see Creed 2. I'm not bothered about it.
How dare you say that about a Rocky movie?
It's not a Rocky movie.
No,
it's a Creed
it is.
movie.
It's still from the Rocky franchise, and that's what we're going to say.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. It's still from the Rocky franchise, but I wanted to see Rocky Balboa fight, not somebody else.
Well, actually, there was a scrap with
now who's
Drago.
doing spoilers?
No, because it was not in the movie. They took it out.
Okay.
It was a scene, and I've seen the footage of it being filmed, but it was cut from the movie for some reason. There was a little scrap in an airport lounge or somewhere it was.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's pretty good. There, I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody, I think, will be coming soon to Sky. I know I've not picked up on Blu-ray yet, but maybe I will do after I've seen it there.
Yeah.
Creed 2's on the Sky store at the moment, so that's not too far away. Fantastic Beasts isn't being talked about at the minute, so there is a few movies. So if we go straight into what we've been watching, on Saturday morning for Sky Cinema was Incredibles 2. And I sat and watched it Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of talk about saying it's not as good as the original. I thought it was bloody good, to be honest. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I think the voices for the Incredibles that have come back for the sequel, they still played it off very well. They had that connection as a family. Mm. And obviously Jack Jacks, we didn't know much about Jack Jacks until we saw the short from Pixar, which is The Baby. Because the short was about a babysitter doing the babysitting when he had his powers. Yeah. And they didn't know about his powers, did they, at the time? So you get to see some of that in the new movie. And I've really enjoyed it. It's been a long time for me watching a Pixar movie. Mm-hmm. But no, I really actually even made the missus laugh. Here you go, and she was laughing at the Jack bits anyway.
I have to admit, I do fancy seeing it myself. To be honest, it's
worth it if you like the original. I know some people say, well, it's not as good as the first one, but it sort of carries on. Do you know what I mean with the story? And they even had help, even though John Lasseter is Pixar. Mm-hmm. Maybe not as much now because Disney took over, but he still helped put the film together as well. So there's a little bit of old school Pixar involved in it.
Okay.
And yeah, it's very, and you got, I can't remember the guy's name now. You got the guy that does the ice. Do you remember? The other superhero.
Isn't that Samuel L. Jackson?
It is, yeah. He's in it as well. So yeah, it's really good. I loved it.
Cool.
So, after listening to another podcast this week about action heroes, it's on the Wrong Reel podcast network, I sat and watched Rambo First Blood 2, Part 2 this afternoon.
Right.
And there's not a lot we can say about these movies, as much as they're good fun. Ironically, the kill count in this movie was 75 compared to 1 in the first Rambo movie.
Yeah. But it was the 80s where they were constantly trying to outdo each other in terms of kill counts.
But ironically, the biggest kill count ever between him and Arnie was always down to Sylvester Stallone. Sorry, was down to Sylvester Stallone doing it. And even in, I think, the Rambo movie, the fourth one, that had over 300 kills in it. But, if you've not seen Rambo, you're missing out on it.
But it's small fry to the millions that were killed on Alderaan and the Death Star in Star Wars.
No, that's not that is just being. I'm not even going to talk to you about that. That is ridiculous. This is actually physically watching people being killed. This is not
so like, a planet with people on it, seeing it blow up
doesn't count because you don't see the kills on screen. This is physically seen. The kill count in these movies is the kills you actually see actually happen.
I know. I was just being facetious.
I know. You are being facetious. I think you're just being dreadful, but anyway. But again, I say, there was an Instagram post from Sylvester Stallone at the weekend. I think this probably helped me watch it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that Rambo 5 is just going to be shown to the producers, to the company, for the first time after it's been completed. So it's coming out, I think, September, November. So tail end of this year, but really looking forward to it. And again, it's to be the swan song for that character as well.
Yeah, they're all going.
They are. We was hoping to go and see Pet Sematary this weekend, but it didn't happen. So even though I did actually watch the original Pet Sematary about a week or two ago, which is great anyway, it's well worth a watch if you've not seen it. I actually watched a film that I hadn't watched for donkeys, and I'd read the book years ago, but I had not seen the movie for a while, and that's Stephen King's Thinner.
Right, okay, not that familiar with it myself.
What, on this story, no?
No.
So the premise of this movie is that this character, who's a little bit larger than life, he can never diet, and he's dreadful. And he has a car accident, killing a gypsy woman. I'm not going to tell you how the car accident occurred. That's for you to watch and see how that happened. But I'm not going to repeat it on here, for obvious reasons. But this gypsy woman is killed in the car accident. The local town sheriff cover it up a bit and get him off scot-free. But the husband of the woman, this gypsy, puts a curse on him. And from the title, you'll guess how that's going to go. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Okay.
But the book was really good. A nice little twist in the end, but it's very well played. It's only about 80, 90 minutes long. But if you've not seen it, it's on Sky Movies at the moment, free to watch if you've not seen it.
Right.
So, yeah, that's mine.
Cool.
So, you're going to talk about something that I saw advertised this afternoon, actually.
Dead Pixels.
Mm.
Yeah, I started watching this because...
Do you want to give me a little bit of a premise without spoiling it?
Right. Basically, it's a bit like a British version of The Guild.
Okay.
So, if you remember The Guild, that was...
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who are not initiated in The Guild, it's basically about people who play like a Warcraft kind of game, who meet up in real life because they're part of a clan and, they have adventures together sort of thing. This is The Guild is free to watch online. You can see that, on YouTube or whatever. Really good if you haven't seen it before. This is a British version, sort of it. It's a similar kind of premise, group of people. It's a smaller group. There's only 3 of them. And then, it's a bit more adult in its approach. So one of the, this woman's, who's like the main character, is at work. This really hot new guy comes along. She starts talking to him, and he ends up joining the game that she's got, and he's a complete noob. He knows nothing. He's just messing about doing stupid stuff. So, different things sort of happen in there.
Okay.
Kind of anybody who's, involved in that kind of world will completely know where it's going from right from the start. The next, so I don't really want to go into any more of that because people won't have seen it. So, just watch it. It's on Channel 4, I think it is, or E4, 4OD. You can download it, which is how I watched it. The next one is the new season of Santa Clarita Diet has actually hit Netflix. So we're on season 3. So this is the one with Drew Barrymore, mm-hmm. Where she is a member of the undead, and her and her husband are a pair of realtors. So basically, estate agents in this country, but obviously these are in America, and they rationalise killing people in order to feed Drew Barrymore, basically.
I have watched episode 1 of that.
Yeah, it's worth persevering through the first couple of episodes till it finds its feet, to be honest. But it is a good comedy. It's a completely different take on zombies, because normally with zombies, they are suddenly pale-skinned, weaker skulls, slow-moving or silly fast-moving, screaming and whatever. She's just normal. She's like normal, apart from the fact that she doesn't have blood. She has this black stuff that's within her. And her body is very, very slowly rotting, but they, like a toe will fall off or whatever. So, there's that sort of thing, but, that's addressed throughout the story as well. It had starred Nathan Fallon in there as in Firefly, but his character has changed in this season. So it's a different actor. It's also the guy off Firefly, but the one who was the pilot. If you can think of who also did the robot in Rogue One.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So he's the new version of the same character, basically.
Yeah.
But it's well worth watching. Really enjoyed it. This has, how can I put it, made me think long and hard about the way in which our programmes are delivered to us. Because I know you've not been keeping up with Star Trek Discovery.
No.
Why? I can't understand in the slightest, and there is no excuse.
I've got every excuse.
No, there is no excuse. There is no excuse. You've been off sick, for God's sake.
Yeah, but,
no, I don't know.
Yeah,
because I can't understand why you would miss it. There is no excuse.
What I'm actually going to be doing is I'm actually going to be catching up, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to download them off of Netflix onto my phone, just so I can get to watch them.
You've been off, and you haven't watched. I'd have just binge watched them. Anyway, going back to it.
Yeah, go on, carry whatever. Yeah.
So, what my kind of like dilemma is, which is the best way to actually have the programmes delivered to you? Is it better to go down the Netflix route with Discovery, so you have one a week? Or is it actually better to have it the Santa Clarita Diet way and have it delivered to you all in one go?
Well, you see, depends on how the shows are being put together. So if we're getting a show like Discovery where they may well be filming as they go and then releasing them, you haven't got much of a choice.
No, you haven't.
It's the same way my missus was moaning because one of her favourite shows obviously is Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
And they're being filmed as we speak, as they come out. And she hates it now that we've been binge-watched 15 seasons.
And now you're on a drip feed.
You're on a drip feed of one a week. And then obviously we have got Fire Station 19, which is a sister show.
Yeah.
So there's an episode of that and an episode of that. So I have to sometimes forget it's on for her, and I'll record about 6 of them or something, then she'll watch them.
Yeah.
Because it's hard work otherwise. So you've got that. It's down to the production team and how they're actually, unless you're going to wait a few months and then you can say, well, we can do that, but it'll come out later, but it'll come out in one hit.
Yeah.
Then that might please a few people that way.
Yeah, but I've been thinking about this, about which way I actually prefer it. And I love binge watching TV series, don't get me wrong.
But then you haven't got that anticipation.
Exactly. And
so with obviously what's going on in Discovery, I'm not going to say what I know and what I don't know.
Yeah. I
don't know a lot, but the anticipation of how it's going to play out from the next episode, from what it finishes on the last episode, I think there's a lot of joy out of that.
There is going to be bits that you're going to be like screaming like a schoolgirl, to be quite honest with you, to use a cliche.
Yeah.
That's coming up that you probably haven't seen. What was the last bit that you got to?
Oh, it's very. So I got sidetracked there because this soundtrack's just come on my phone. It's being released. It's called Galaxy Quest, but don't worry about that for the minute. I can actually tell you because if I just log onto Netflix now on my phone, I can tell you where I am. I'm probably device failure occurred. Okay.
What do you remember happening last?
What do I remember? Not a lot, to be honest. Let me have a look at my list because it should come up now. Because I've actually haven't watched a lot on Netflix of late, to be honest. I've not even actually finished off another TV show that we watched.
Okay.
Here we go. Season 2. I'm only on episode 3.
Oh my God, man. What are you doing?
And I'm only at the beginning of it. I've watched probably a few minutes. And
right.
without me actually, I'm not trying not to scroll that and then what it says, but it's very small writing anyway, and I've got my glasses on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is it finished yet? Is the series over? It's not.
Nope. Still going.
Okay. Still
going. Right. Okay. So basically, you're nowhere in this season. But you have got so much to look forward to in terms of it. But I think you're actually doing yourself a disservice if you're going to binge watch it all.
Well, no, I won't. Due to what's going on in life sometimes, I might watch one episode and then maybe I could watch one a night.
I wouldn't, to be honest, I've given this a lot of thought and I actually prefer it the way that they're doing Discovery of releasing an episode a week than the way they've done Santa Clarita Diet and doing it all at once, because I watched all of the episodes of that and now I have to wait for over a year to get the next season.
Yeah, because there's only 10 episodes per season here, isn't there?
Yeah. And they're only short episodes as well.
31 minutes, 26 minutes, yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So, to be honest, I much prefer the way that Netflix and CBS are releasing Star Trek.
So each season's about 5 hours of that.
Yeah.
And for that Santa Clarita.
Yeah. But it's well worth watching, and it's not going to take you a lot of time, and you can binge watch it all if you really want to as well.
Mm.
But no, you need to build your anticipation, watch an episode and leave it a couple of days and then watch the next one, but you need to catch up.
See, the thing is, I was watching Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Seriously.
I
seriously think about kicking you off this podcast in that case.
No,
you're watching Sabrina above Star Trek.
No, I haven't been watching it. No, I'm just saying I had been watching it a little while ago. I only watched 3 episodes of that.
Good God.
But that's very dark. It's very dark.
Good God, man.
It's not like Sabrina the Witch on the TV show. Nothing like it.
Okay.
Honestly, it's.
You mean it's not a girls' program?
No, it's nothing like. It's the sort of thing you could watch with your girlfriend or your missus.
Right. Okay.
It's that sort of TV show.
Okay.
But
I'm still not convinced you should be watching Star Trek, man.
No, I haven't been watching Netflix at all. Full stop at the moment. So
okay. I'll stop giving you a hard time.
You got no chance. Well, I need to go back to The Good Place. If we're talking about other stuff here, I've only watched 5 episodes of The Good Place. See, The Good Place got better and better as you went through the season. And that finishes at 12, isn't it? Something like that, yeah. So I'm halfway into it, yeah. Anyway, Santa Clarita Diet, it's not as good as seasons 1 and 2, but it's still enjoyable. That would be what I would say about that. So, moving on, the next film I'm going to talk about, and I am going to do spoilers because I want to talk about some of the bits in it that are towards the end. So, this film's going to be 2001: A Space Odyssey. So, if you haven't seen it, don't grumble at me because it's spoilers. As old as me. It's old as me. Because it's spoilers. It's over half a century old. If you haven't seen it... Don't tell him that. I just said it. I said it's as old as me. That's enough. You don't need to explain that I'm old. The movie is 51 years old. It does not... you can't spoil a 51-year-old movie. If you haven't seen it, you're not going to watch it. Let's face it. So, anyway, 2001: A Space Odyssey, 4K version of it. My God, this film looks gorgeous. I mean, absolutely drop dead gorgeous the way that it looks.
this is obviously Stanley Kubrick movie based on the novels by Arthur C. Clarke. The movie is basically about mankind, and it's, you know, an hour quest to go to the stars, as it were. It starts off with some classical music being played, and then goes into prehistoric man, which is basically apes, and shows about the human, or ape ancestors of us coming into contact with the first monolith, because suddenly these apes wake up and there is a monolith there, which basically it's suggested is the Kickstarter for us to evolve technology and whatever, because shortly after that they discover that if they hit something with a bone, that they've then got a weapon, and that's sort of like the start for everything else. And then it cuts to 2001, where we're in space, and there is a base on the moon. There is a massive space station, a classic, you know, 2 rings spinning sort of thing, very much like sort of Elite Dangerous, to be honest, probably where they got the idea from. Rotating space stations and whatever. Dr. Hayward Floyd is flying up to the moon because they found a monolith on the moon, which then points them towards Jupiter, where there is a massive monolith, and it's about the story of the two astronauts who are awake for the journey, because there are other astronauts or scientists on the Discovery, which is the ship that is going to Jupiter. They're in hypersleep, but there's Dr. David Bowman and Dr. Frank Poole, who are the 2 astronauts who are looking after the ship, and they're accompanied by HAL, who is the onboard AI of the ship who looks after the ship. So, and it's about how HAL malfunctions and ends up killing or trying to kill all of the crew in order to protect the mission, because now, HAL can do it himself.
Can I just say this? There is a great little Mickey take on this in the Airplane movie.
Yes, there is.
Isn't there?
Yeah. Is that Airplane 2?
I think it might have been Airplane 2, because the first one was to do with the fish dinner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just come into my head actually thinking about that. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this film is famous for the absolutely fantastic special effects. I mean, a lot of people say George Lucas made, you know, the first really good special effects sci-fi movies. That's not true. Stanley Kubrick, I think, beat him by several years in 2001, because this is also scientifically accurate, so there's no sound in space.
That's right.
Obviously, the spaceship designs and everything, they look very effective. The Discovery's a little bit weird because it looks like a ball with a long spine coming off it to rockets at the end, and a big satellite dish halfway down. But it still looks like it could actually be a real spaceship, although probably a bit structurally inept. And the effects when you're actually out in space, they do look quite real. Actually, because I said this in the intro, when you first start watching the movie is probably when the effects look the worst, up until you get to the space station.
I've got to say this actually, right?
Yeah.
I've got a couple of little things I can let you know about this now. In the first part of that movie you're talking about, there's no dialogue for 25 minutes of the movie.
No, there isn't.
And the first bit is going to be the steward who speaks on the space station.
Yeah.
But yeah, any other movie has not got any dialogue for 25 minutes in a movie.
Yeah, it's just music or apes calling. That's all it is.
And did you know they shot some 200 times the length of the final film? That's probably a lot of editing that was done for that film.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks fantastic. especially when you consider that this was made in 1968 was this movie. That's older than I am. And, it looks as good today as a lot of movies do. Like I said, the very opening bit, the bits that are a bit poor, are a couple of the ships that are flying around at the, opening of 2000, the 2001 part of the timeline, because what they've quite clearly done is either taken a photograph or a matte painting of a spaceship and then just moved it along. So there is actually no change in perspective, which when you were on up to Blu-ray didn't really show, but now that you're on 4K does show a little bit. But after that, then the effects kind of pick up a little bit. I think that the costumes in the film are absolutely fantastic. Especially the spacesuits. I think that they look what you would have expected spacesuits to look like. I mean, the story's a classic and is absolutely brilliant anyway. And it's an interesting sort of thing of how HAL killing off the crew is that, how it's all justified in the end. And obviously you then get 2010, a Space, Odyssey 2, which is a sequel. And that had, I forgot what his name is, Roy Schneider as Dr. Hayward Floyd, who wasn't the same person who played him in the first movie.
No.
Here's a question for you. What's the cross between this movie and Rising Damp?
It's actually the guy that plays Rigsby's on the plane, if I remember right. He's at the plane.
He's on the spaceship, Leonard Rossiter.
Yeah, he is, Leonard Rossiter. Yeah, that is correct.
Yep, plays a Russian scientist.
It's very odd, isn't it? But he's only very briefly though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He is very briefly. But anyway, I mean, eventually the Discovery gets to Jupiter, and I think this is probably the earliest that computer graphics have probably actually been in a movie that I can think of.
Not too sure. I have to research that.
And don't forget, it's like 1968. It's a long time ago. But when Dave Bowman finally does leave the Discovery and goes to see this massive monolith that's orbiting Jupiter, and then it opens up, and that's where you get the classic line, "My God, it's full of stars." And then he gets absorbed into it. What's your take on that? What do you think is that Arthur C. Clarke was trying to say about his character, where he goes?
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. I'm not sure whether I'll actually dig out what the Blu-ray, but I'm just looking at the 4K actually on Amazon at the moment.
Yeah.
3-disc version.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie. I need to revisit it.
Well, if you remember, he ends up in a room where he sees progressively aging versions of himself, and then he sees himself as an embryo.
Is that linked to the sequel, do you think?
It is linked to the sequel, because if you remember, he also reappears as an embryo in part of the sequel as well.
And that's on the poster as well, if I remember rightly.
It is. It's on the poster of both movies, or versions of it. And to me, I think that what that's sort of signifying is his rebirth, because he kind of like transcends to the next level of human existence, doesn't he? In terms of it as a movie. But all of the bits where the little shuttle pods that they have, which are like balls with like arms that come out of it, all of that, it looks so crisp. It's unbelievably good. Because they actually look really realistic as well. In terms of, you could imagine somebody getting in one and flying about in it, because they look very much a bit like submarine. Some of the small one-man submarines that the people have as well, don't they? But the lighting and everything, it just looks so vibrant. The detail level in it, you can tell that, this is a good quality conversion to 4K. And now this is available in 8K as well, so God knows what that must look like.
Mm. I mean, it's a very clean print. And what they did do those days, science fiction ships were very clean and white, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
So it is very pristine. I mean, some of the famous shots in that like tunnel when he's got his red spacesuit on and all that, which comes to mind. What's the running time of the movie, by the way? Is it like an extended version, or I'm not too sure how that's progressed with the movie for this case of the cut?
To be quite honest, I don't know, because I haven't got my glasses on and the writing is so incredibly small it looks like straight lines on the back of the box.
Okay, all right. I'll you crack on talking and I'll Google it 'cause I'm curious. Actually.
Yeah, but I mean, this has been one of my favourite movies for all my life that I can remember.
Oh, I totally agree. It's a science fiction movie that any sci-fi fan will love and will hold it dear to their chest, I think.
Yeah, and I've read all of the books as well, because there's 2010, there's also 2061, and then there is 3001.
Yeah.
And I really wish it'd make the rest of the movies, to be honest.
300 minutes.
That's a fair old amount of time.
I think that's what it is, yeah.
Is it really that long? Can't be that long. No, it's 2.5 hours.
Well, 160 is 240. That's 2 hours. So, yeah, it's about right, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
When you think of it like that.
No, because it can't be 300 minutes. No, it's 120, 160.
Oh, right.
Otherwise, it'd be 5 hours.
No, 5 hours of the content.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, it might be with that. But, yeah, I mean, it's an absolute classic science fiction movie. It's, I think George Lucas has said several times about how 2001 was a bit of an inspiration for him in terms of Star Wars and what he wanted to achieve. In terms of the look kind of thing. Yeah. It's not a fast-paced movie at all.
Oh, God, it's very slow.
It is very slow. And a matter of fact, it actually tends to make Blade Runner look fast-paced.
Not Blade Runner. I actually watched something else I watched over the last couple of weeks. I did watch the final cut this time, though.
Right.
But anyway, that's by the way.
But you have to admit, it's not a fast-paced movie, it's Blade Runner.
No, but I love it. No, I enjoy that movie. I mean, it's just what it is.
I ain't knocking you on that. At all. What I'm saying is, this is slower than that. So if you're into all of the big explosions, fast pace, it's not for you. But it's a beautiful movie to look at. Absolutely beautiful. Great passion about the movie. Always have had, always will have. I think it's one of the ultimate sci-fi movies ever made. I think a lot of the generation today, though, wouldn't get it. The younger generations, because of it being so slow.
Possibly. I mean, I do like the way they've used the classical music in it.
Yeah. This is what gets me. And when you watch it on TV, it's the movie, yeah? You just see the whole film. But on the Blu-ray or the 4K, this is the same as the collector's edition on DVD, which I've got. Halfway through the movie, it comes up with a word, intermission.
It does, yeah, I know, yeah.
And it plays classical music.
Yeah. Time for you to go for a loo, get a cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Get the missus to dress up in a French maid outfit and walk up and down with ice cream.
Because that's what it was for when it came out in the cinema.
Yeah, it was.
There's not many films that had that running time.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I'll tell you what, as well, I saw a few people, a conversation online somewhere saying, is it time to bring back ushers into the cinema?
Don't know, really.
Well, you think about it, movies are getting longer nowadays, aren't they? I think it'd be a good move. Have somebody walking up and down, ice cream. The ice cream man's coming.
I did see that in my old cinema in Henley, very vintage cinema, and they used to do that there.
Yeah. In about fact, they do that at the cinema at Thirsk here. Yeah. It's just a little independent job. I've talked about it before, but that's quite neat, to be honest. I quite like that. Anyway, that's my love for 2001. But it is well worth watching in 4K if you have the ability to do so, because the visuals do look really, really stunning, and the fact that this is a 51-year-old movie that still holds up.
Yeah,
just
Kubrick can do that with his movies.
Yeah. Not many people can, but it's a classic. Always will be a classic, I think. It's just a shame that we never actually got to be where it is, in terms of the technology and everything, and the space stations and on the moon and all of that sort of stuff. But it'll come. Anyway, shall we move on to listener questions?
John, what's happening to us?
And we're back for listener questions. So, as always, we'll start off with Mark, and he's asked, what is your most neglected console you've ever owned?
It's a PS4, hands down.
You think?
It is at the moment, because all I'm playing is Destiny. And that's about it, really. I go on there, I'll download maybe the latest game, freebie, and that's it, really. Except a few friend requests or whatever, but yeah, it's just the way it is in a minute.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason for it. You'll have a game you'll have to play, unless you're going to try and play on two consoles, which spoils it, I think.
What, playing the game on two consoles?
Yeah, I think, just concentrate on one.
No, I disagree, because I play it on the PC for a different reason than what I play it on the Xbox for. Yeah,
but then you're going to start to play on the PS4, though. That's what I mean, because between those two, not the PC, that's separate.
I have to admit, I have given up on the PS4 version. Not because it's not
No,
good. It's just you can't do it on all of them.
There's not enough time in the day.
No, definitely not.
And there'll be a game that will come out on the PS4 that'll be an exclusive. Everyone will be jumping. We'll all jump on it.
Yeah.
At some point.
Did you actually play God of War?
Yes, I have played it.
Have you completed it?
No.
Okay.
I know I should do. Again, I should complete Spider-Man as well. And I've got other games to play. It's just like everything else.
Did you complete Detroit?
No, I've got halfway through that as well.
How many games have you completed this year?
Not many. One that you haven't, though.
What one's that?
Excuse me, Resident Evil 2. I've completed it twice.
Yeah, okay. I'll take that on the chin.
Anyhow,
I've completed 25 games so far this year.
Yeah, we know. We don't know how you do that sometimes. I reckon you blab. You're doing quiet time at work. I'm sure of it.
Trust me, I don't have time to do quiet time at work.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, what's my most neglected console? The Vita. The Vita. Yeah. Okay. I would say
it's going to get more neglected now. There's no games coming out for it.
Yeah, probably. And I think the PSP was before it as well. Yeah, I would say that I keep having spurts where I enjoy the Vita and then I just forget about it again. But such is life. Second question is, do you choose a game to play?
Oh, am I not going to read them out then?
Sorry? Sorry, you go. He's grumbling. Go on then.
I'm going to grumble, yes, thank you very much. Anyway, question 2. Do you choose a game to play by the mood you're in, or does the game dictate what mood you're in? Sorry, shall I say? Moods. I'm going to get in a swapping mood now because you're ignoring me.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm just laughing because you fumbled it.
I know. Because
anyway, so
what mood?
I have to play a game by the mood I'm in.
Every time.
And
I have a Destiny mood, unfortunately. That's all it is.
Yeah, we know it. I think it's one of those things of gaming. It's a bit like watching a movie or something like that. If you're not in the right frame of mind, you're not really going to have an enjoyable experience at it.
I think also, if it obviously you go, what mood you're in to play, what game you're playing, but obviously as it says there that what mood you're in could be, I might just sit and I've just seen and watched some of the Game Awards and I haven't played game, another fake game that's popped up there. I'll put that on for a bit. It's all moods. It's just the way it is.
I mean, I think, to be honest...
I can swap and change all the time if I'm in the mood to do it.
Yeah. I think, in terms of games, you pick the game that matches the mood that you're in, but I think playing that game can put you in a different mood. If you see what I mean. So, for example, if you have a particularly bad game of Destiny or The Division or whatever, you might come out of it not feeling, that was great or whatever, but being like really grumpy. Or, on the other hand, you might go and think, I'll play this because it's easy and I just can't be bothered and feeling fed up, and come out of it and feel like, that's made me feel a bit better now because I've got past that bit I was stuck on or whatever, and cleared your mind of thoughts. So I think that the game that you play dictates the mood dictates what you play, but then I think that the game then influences your mood. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
All right,
fine.
Can I go now?
Yeah, cool, sure.
That's very magnanimous of you. So, Paul Wilson, going on to Facebook questions, is, I can remember watching Star Wars in a cinema at the Odeon, so did I, on the huge screen, number 1, back in 1977. I would have been 6. So we're the same age then, Paul. But all I seem to notice over the years is that the screen sizings become disappointingly small, even on my local IMAX. Is not as big as the screen sizes from when I was a lad. Do you feel screen sizes have perhaps shrunk too much over the years?
I think because he was a little child, it looked bigger.
Yeah, I think your perspective on the world is different.
To be honest, I mean, the screen, watching that in the cinema, if you're watching it in London, for example, I think maybe the screens would have been bigger. You'd have a different ratio size. If you're going to go to a multiplex cinema, they've got different screens in there, and the screens are different sizes for the room they're in.
Yeah.
But if you're going to see a film, I always recommend go up to London or somewhere and go to Leicester Square, and then you see how big the screen is. I mean, IMAX is set standard anyway. IMAX is IMAX because it's got to sit that film that's been recorded has got to sit on that dedicated size screen.
Yeah.
So the IMAX screen's the same size everywhere. But
is it the same size or is it the same aspect ratio?
I think it's the same size and aspect ratio, isn't it? Because it's like the height of 6 double-decker buses or something stupid, isn't it? It's a ridiculous size screen.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you Google it, there's some silly little idea about how big it is and the height. So the one I've been to was the one at the Natural History Museum, which was huge. I've been to Leicester Square to see a few movies, and the screen I think is bigger there, and obviously it's there with the aspect ratio for what it's been filmed at. It will seem bigger because they're like huge auditoriums, aren't they?
Yeah. Compared
to a View 6 screen, number 1 will be the biggest screen with the bigger seats in it. Screen 6 will be a tiny little pokey hole, won't it? So.
Yeah, I think it very much depends upon the building that your cinema is actually in, but I do agree with you. I think your sense of perspective is so much different as an adult, and I think some of it as well will be you remember the size of the screen being bigger because you would have been so much absorbed into something like Star Wars, the first time that you ever see Star Wars. When we saw Star Wars in the cinema, and especially if you were 6, like obviously Paul and I were, it's sort of like you just fell into that like, imagery. Yeah,
it's like, from my point of view, when I was 6, let's say 6, when I was 8, and I went to see Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
That screen was huge. And that was at a cinema that's not anymore in Slough. There was one called the Granada. Which was a three screen cinema, and screen 1 was absolutely massive in there. Remember it well, but I was only tiny then,
Yeah. So, but if you went in now, if it was still there, I bet you would think it was a lot smaller than what you remember.
Possibly. I mean, your aspect ratio is always going to be the same, but the aspect ratio is the same aspect ratio that if you'd watched it on a Blu-ray, isn't it? Because it's just projected on a bigger screen in that same aspect ratio of 265 block, whatever it's going to be, you know.
Well, that's always fixed.
Yeah.
But how big it's projected depends upon the room that it's been projected in.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. But what about TVs? Because in TVs, we have exactly the opposite.
Yeah, you have the perspective ratio sometimes, if you're lucky. What you do with your, well, hopefully with most Blu-rays these days, occasionally they're there to fit screen size, which is, I hate that. Because that is not the correct ratio.
No.
But then we can talk about pan and scan and TVs and what they did with that, but we don't need to talk about that, but we all know about that.
I'll tell you what I think is really interesting is, when I was growing up, I had a 14-inch black and white portable. No, it wasn't even 14-inch. It probably was about 14-inch. Black and white portable in my bedroom. That was my TV. Yeah. My parents had a 21-inch TV, which was 4x3.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like, and that was a good size standard set. You know, you didn't get much bigger than a 21-inch TV. For a start off, you'd have got a hernia just trying to carry it, let alone anything else. And now you look, and your monitors are 21 inches, you know, on your computers. You can get laptops that are 21-inch screens. And your TVs are 40, 50, 60, 80 inches. How things have completely changed in that sort of respect. And part of the reason is because of the increase in resolution, so that it can display the pixels better. Completely understand that. But it's just amazing how TVs have changed, especially over the last 10 years. And what is really interesting as well, because obviously, as you know, I've got a 50-inch 4K TV in the living room now. And for years and years and years, we had a 32-inch. And
that's, you wouldn't believe it, but that is a horrendous upscale.
It is.
And you compare that to, say, mine's nearly 50 bar an inch, and the one I've got in here in this room, which is nowhere near that size, but it looks big in this room because it's where it's positioned.
Yeah.
But you try and put the other TV in there like that, you wouldn't get it in there. No way.
No, exactly. Well, I mean, I've got in this room a 43-inch. But, you know, downstairs got the 50-inch. And I went to my mother-in-law's, where, you know, my brother-in-law lives there as well. And he's, you know, in their living room, they've got a 32-inch TV, the same size as we had a couple of months ago.
Does it look small though now? Does it look small?
I thought, Jesus Christ, it's like watching a postage stamp. It seems so small, and how your sense of perspective suddenly shifts. Because I remember when I first got the TV, it took a while to get used to seeing the screen so big. Now, I can't imagine watching a TV without the screen being so big. It's really weird. Anyway, I digress. I will let you do Jason Toons.
Okay. So he says, what was the last game you were obsessed with and easily, consistently played or thought about? Oh, yeah, I don't need to answer that question, do I?
No.
Well, you can answer it, though.
Well, do you want to finish
we'll say that he's currently saying Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
He plays it day and often thinks about it when he's not around. You know, you get that.
Yeah. If you get really into a game, there's always a game that gets under your skin that you really, really want to play. We know that yours is Destiny 2, as it was Destiny beforehand.
Yeah. But then I had Bioshock, I had Crackdown back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, and Skyrim, Fallout.
Well, any time that's Fallout. Matter of fact, what amazes me is how incredibly quiet you are about Fallout 76.
Well, nothing needs to be said about that, is there, really?
What other than it's a broken pile of mess?
But I don't know. I mean, I need to go back to that and see how it plays.
I know, but the thing is, you're not.
No, because I'm not playing anything at the moment. It just, unfortunately, the way it is.
I know, but the one game that could really, really pull you away from Destiny is Fallout.
Yeah, I thought Mass Effect would have done that, but that was a pile of poo as well. But you know,
yeah. For me, I think the last game I was really getting quite obsessive with was probably Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because when I was playing that game and, finishing, you go and do something else, you'd be thinking about it. And I was playing it all the time. And I caned that game in a month. I did 100 hours on that game in a month, which is a lot. Bit. It is a fair bit. It is. It's 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
On average. But I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Got every penny worth out of that, I think. Was really happy with that game. So, and it's good when you get a game like that as well, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we go to Ants? So, Ants Lewis is, what do you both love the most? Or, if you had to choose one, movies or gaming?
I don't think I could choose between the two. I have my urges to play games and to watch movies.
Yeah.
And I think with games at the minute where there isn't a lot I want to play, I think movies comes out on top a little bit. It may sound a bit odd that it does, but...
I don't think it does, because I think that in some ways I'm a bit gamed out.
Yeah. Because
I'm sort of like in that position where I'm thinking, actually, do you know what? I just want to watch a good movie. And I've been watching a lot more movies recently. Like I said, I've got Dark City coming. I've got just watched 2001.
You see, if I could afford to, I couldn't at the minute. I'd love to have a cinema pass for me and the missus. Yeah. Because there's a lot of movies that I've missed out on. I do get to watch them on Sky, so that's not a problem. I've not, even though I've got some now on Sky that I've not got a chance to see, but there is so many movies, and it's incredible, really. They're just churning them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with the Marvel universe and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think watching a movie is very different to playing a video game, because obviously one's a passive and the other one's an active in terms of your participation. But I couldn't do without either.
Oh no.
Excuse me. I think they both scratch a different itch, and at the moment I think I'm more in the position of I want to watch rather than play.
And it depends how tired you are as well, because if you're too tired, you ain't going to play games properly.
No, definitely not. I mean, at the moment, I'm really actually fancying getting Game of Thrones on Blu-ray.
Okay.
The whole collection.
I'm sure you'll wait and own the whole lot.
I will at some point. I will own the whole lot, but whether or not I buy season 1 to 7 and then get season 8 separately, or just wait until season 8's been released, because it's only going to be half a dozen episodes. Yeah. So really, by September, I should be able to get the whole series in a box set, which would be fantastic. That's a lot of hours worth of watching.
It is. Well, it does, there's it's too much. Not enough time.
Yeah. Anyway, do you want to do Mike?
So he's asked this before. What do you think of an open world Robin Hood / Assassin's Creed type game could be like? What would you like to see something in that world?
I'm not sure. I think in some respects it's a good idea, because I think that Assassin's Creed would loan itself to, in terms of the combat and the sort of storyline, I think it would lend itself to an Assassin's Creed universe. You could imagine that Robin Hood is an assassin and the Sheriff of Nottingham is a Templar, for example. Where I think it'll fall down, or then become very Assassin's Creed 3-ish, is in the parkour element of the game, where medieval England didn't really have many tall buildings, and certainly not big metropolises of them. So that would mean that the only time that you would be using the climbing and all of that sort of aspect of it, it'd be castles, but it would also be in Sherwood Forest.
Well, wasn't that the same for Assassin's Creed 1 though?
No, because if you think about the environments that they had there, they did set them up as cities.
Yeah.
Whereas that wasn't really the case in this country so much then. So I'm not sure that aspect would work, but I think you could do something in Sherwood Forest like the way that Assassin's Creed 3 does in terms of the woods.
Yeah. How about another twist on it?
Yeah.
Well, this could be DC's Arrow.
What, as Assassin's Creed?
Well, mixture of the idea. Well, Robin Hood Arrow is very similar, and using the Assassin's Creed mold for the Arrow character, but this would be in Star City instead of a forest. Though.
Right. So what you're saying is make a DC game using the Assassin's Creed engine based around Arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could imagine that would work, although obviously you wouldn't have the hidden blade.
No, but you'd have little gimmick devices to use.
Yeah.
Still, the same as the Arrow has, in that universe. And also you've got villains and bosses that he would have been up against that you would use for the story.
Right.
Which I need to get back to that TV show as well. I'm a little bit behind on that at the moment.
I'm up to date on it.
Are you? Because I was watching Flash the other night, funnily enough. I know we're going to go off the tangent again.
Yeah.
But I was watching Flash the other night because I need to start pulling them back as well.
Is it just because you're just playing Destiny all the time that you're not watching stuff?
No, I only play Destiny at 10 o'clock onwards.
Right.
But I do watch stuff with the missus as well that she likes.
Okay.
Sometimes,
so in other words, you're being henpecked and the missus is telling you what you have to watch.
No, not at all, because she says, what are we going to watch tonight? I mean, Grey's is now just once a week anyway. We've got about 7 or 8 shows that we watch, including The Big Bang Theory, Arrow, Flash, Young Sheldon, Hawaii Five-0, all sorts of shows. At the end of the day, there's not enough hours in the day to watch them all.
No, I have to admit, to be honest, anything that I watch, my missus doesn't, so it makes it very easy.
Well, we sit together most evenings. Well, 99% of the time, we will sit together most evenings and watch a show, whether it's a cooking program, or we're watching that Stand Up for Cancer for the Bake Off at the minute.
Right.
So it's just,
Fair enough.
But anyway.
So Mike's asked a different question. He's asked, would No Man's Sky VR get you back to No Man's Sky?
Well, we did mention this earlier, didn't we?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, will be the answer. I'm sure if I can pick a cheap copy up just to try it on the PlayStation.
In a matter of fact, what you can actually do is you can actually get No Man's Sky to do VR on the PC anyway. But it requires a bit of ingenuity, shall we say. It's not directly supported.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can actually get it on the PC that way. Do you want to do the last one?
It's quite apt, this last one, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So, Nicky Wilson says, what aspect ratio do you prefer for watching your TV and why? Full screen, 60:9, 4:3. Also, does it put you off watching movies that keep changing from 16:9 to IMAX full screen, like Aquaman? Well, actually, Batman did that as well, actually, didn't it?
Batman did, yeah.
That was filmed in IMAX for certain scenes, and it went back to letterbox format, shall we say, or whatever you want to call it. So, what do you prefer? You prefer Rambo. Well, I just go and pick up a Blu-ray from my disc.
Personally, I prefer the original format that the film was in, so that I see the full picture. I'm not bothered about the black borders on the top and the bottom.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
Aren't you rambling?
No, I'm not, because I answered the question and then you wandered off.
Well,
so
I prefer.
Well, you didn't hear what I said, did you?
No, go on, repeat then.
I prefer the original aspect ratio.
Yes, and normally that will be 16:9, but that could be broken down into different versions of widescreen.
Yeah.
What I don't like sometimes is where they fit the aspect ratio on the Blu-ray to fit your TV. Because I think you're still missing some of it.
You are.
It's still slightly missing. I mean, the TVs we're getting now are getting to nearly look like a letterbox at the best of times.
Well, most movies are actually 21:9, not 16:9.
Yeah.
So
the aspect ratio is it 2 to 35?
2.35 to 1.
Yeah, that's normally, and then you can get 16 as well.
No, 14 to 10 or 1.4 to 1.
Because Star Wars was always thinner, if you know what I mean, on the widescreen aspect ratio.
Yeah.
And this is down to the preference of filming at the end of the day, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But I'd rather have the letterbox there any day of the week.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Even on a 16:9 screen, because there's not that much difference, but there is enough.
No, because when I was looking at Apocalypse Now, I did pop that in just to look at the 79 version.
Mm.
And that's the same. You got the letterbox, but that's it, because you're seeing the whole picture.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're missing out stuff.
Yeah. And if you're not sure about that, Google a video of pan and scan, and you see what you're missing out on.
Exactly.
So, is that it? We done?
I think we are done. Just talking about No Man's Sky. If you're wanting to get it for the PlayStation, CEX have it for £12.
I'll have to have a look then.
Yeah, because it's £28 on Xbox.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Anyway, I think that's us done. So we'll do our outros. So, Steve, do you want to say what your contact details are?
Okay, so Twitter at Steve007, not Steve Ooh07, some people might say, but I'm not going to knock them for it. PSN ID is the real Steve007, Xbox is Steve007, and email, if we get them right, Steve007 at popculturegamers.co.uk. If you want to get hold of me quickly at any time of the day, and I can always reply back, Twitter is the main place to go for me.
Yeah.
And yourself.
And for me, if you just search for me on YouTube at HARJUK, go on to Twitter at HARJUK, PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, Origin, Uplay, everything is HARJUK. If you want to get in contact with the show, then you can also contact podcast at popculturegamers.co.uk. We have a Facebook group called Pop Culture Gamers. You can also visit our website, popculturegamers.podbean.com. Don't forget, we're on lots of different streaming services, including Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, and you can even use our Alexa skill to play the show as well. Just download the Pop Culture Gamers Alexa skill from there. If you want to support the show, you can also support us on Patreon, or otherwise, if you would prefer to show your support in non-monetary terms, then you can also just repost and spread the word about the show as well, because all of that will help us as well. Also, I forgot to mention as well, I'm also on Twitch at HARJUK as well. So that's it.
So that is it. That's it. Done and dusted. Episode
number 43.
And what are we going to call it?
I think open the pod bay doors, please, Hal.
You have every right to say that because it's your show this week.
Indeed.
So
that's it. And it's a good night from me.
And a good night from him.
Good night.
You are about to witness history in the making.